Alrighty, part 4 of the Octopode Conjurer, apparently of Ashenzari. Bit of an odd choice, but, you know, doing some good things for our spell skills and shield skill and dodging skill. Pretty good. Hey, NG Matt, what's up, man? One thing I meant to mention about Ashenzari is that it is a little odd that, you know, I cannot curse my weapon. Or I can, but it's not going to make sense for me to do that in the long term because I'm going to be in statue form if I find it. So I won't be getting any benefit out of that. So that's interesting. How are we doing on teleport? 7 teleport? I see that we have a set of throwing nets on the shopping list, so let's grab those. Oh, wait, I just bought a teleport scroll. Oops. I want the nets. Alright, there we go. Alright, so for the reasons that I talked about last time, we determined that I'm going to swamp. Okay, and we're just gonna tear this place apart with dragon form. And if anything starts to go badly, if we start having any problems really at all, we'll just you know, assuming it's a problem that Petrify doesn't solve, we'll just use Summon Forest and it'll resolve everything. This is a big boy. This is just an ugly thing, which is stronger, you know, more damage, more hit points. But with Petrify, we just kill him really easily. My pack is full. Uh-oh. We should drop some stuff. Honestly, I'm gonna drop the Ring of Fire. There's no reason I would need RF++ right now. How do I feel about the claim... Also, hello, rainy day tomorrow. How do I feel about the claim that Dragon Form is a trap because it wipes out your own defenses? I don't think that claim is accurate at all. I don't think that it is a trap. I think that it is a tool used for very particular jobs. So you have to be aware of the fact that your defenses are bad. But the fact that you can just sort of one-shot all kinds of things makes it very good. Especially in conjunction with things like Vile Clutch, which we don't have. By the way, I wanted to mention, this is neither here nor there, but when we were messing with the Noxious Bog, that new spell, something I didn't know was that Ignite Poison will make that not go away, but it will cause fire clouds to show up on top of the bog, and still poisons dudes instantly to max poison. So, really amazing combo. We haven't found Ignite Poison, so we can't enjoy that, and this is a little bit late in the game for me to care about that anyway, but it might have been interesting, you know. Alrighty, do we want to curse something? How are we doing? I guess I could curse my Ring of Protection. This is going to be a shame if we start finding really good rings, but this will just get my inventory a little less full. We could also, yeah, we can drop Enslavement. I generally don't like to carry Enslavement and Paralysis at the same time because they sort of fulfill the same purpose. And item capacity is a problem. I should probably drop these dumb potions of stabbing since they're essentially worthless. I mean, you could do certain things with them, but it's just not worth it. They made Ignite Poison not useless anymore. Yeah, I mean, it was not useless, but it was very janky. It was very janky. The one real meaningful use of it, in my experience, was to, you know, turn Meth Cloud into fire clouds. Getting some stabs. Okay, let's go Dragon Form for this. Ooh, we've been hooked. That's exciting. Okay, so check this out. Any kind of fire will make steam over water, so we're going to breathe fire. Nice. One thing I have to be careful of being in dragon form in this branch is bog bodies do cast cold spells. So I happen to have a Ring of Cold Resist on, so I still go to RC null. But if I was going to RC minus, there would be a real problem. But that was a bog body. I can just stab him, I guess. Can you still cheese snake with it? No. Ignite poison used to damage anything that was poisonous. But that is not the case anymore. Which, honestly, is probably a good thing. I mean, it made the spell significantly less useful, but, yep, there we are. So I should not be in dragon form fighting this thing. Also, I cannot, can I turn him to stone? Yeah, I can. Worms probably shouldn't grapple huge creatures. Well, that was a relatively new addition to the game, so you've got the current crop of devs who built that, so I seriously doubt they paid attention to such concerns, you know. They tend to be a little reckless. I don't think they test their code very much, and so on and so forth. Identify, let's identify this potion. Ambrosia, that's good. Pro Cold, we can drop this Ring of Ice and get the Pro Cold. There's a +1 Ring of Slaying. I don't care about that, we'll just drop that. +1 is basically nothing. But I do like the Pro Cold. In fact, we'll wear our poise all the time instead of the Pro Cold, as much as I'd like to have extra cold to cover when I'm in dragon form, you know. Because I want to have our poise all the time. And while dragon form gives our poise, I don't want to get caught without our poise, especially in swamp, where you can get, say, confused by swamp drakes. I guess I probably should be talking about some of the enemies in here, since this is going to be up on a tutorial. I'm just kind of autopiloting through this through this place. They're very strong worms, yeah. Alright, so you will have hydras in here, which should be no big deal, because they've already seen them in Lair. Although it's worth noting that they move very quickly in the water. I think they even attack faster in the water, actually. I'd have to check on that. But the point is, you're not going to be walking away, for the most part, you're not going to be walking away from a hydra if you're in swamp. There's just too much water. They will catch you. So I like how it kind of takes an enemy you've already fought and then raises the difficulty. Hey, Adort says they do, in fact, attack faster in water. Yeah, I thought so too. I didn't show off all the ways of dealing with hydras, but one fun one is to go tree form. They really cannot do nearly as much damage when they're in tree form. Here, I'm going to show off Summon Forest. Wait, you need to... Whoops. Let's go dragon form. These are one-headed hydras. Okay, so with Summon Forest, you need to have some space. If you cast it a few times, you'll get a sense of where you can cast it and where you can't. So it says, a forested plain collides here with a resounding crunch. Dryad calls out to the forest. That'll happen every time. Forest starts to sway and rumble. So then all the trees, it'll usually generate some trees. It looks like it didn't do that this time. It just sort of turned the existing trees into... Well, it made the existing trees mad. It's really strong in swamp because these guys will damage any enemy next to them. So, it's great. This Dryad can heal herself or awaken vines, which make vines go out of the trees and pull things to the trees. It's pretty good. I feel okay about meleeing these hydras with very few heads. Technically, I think I can rip heads off as a dragon with my bite, but it's not really a big deal. Thorn Hunters. One of the most dangerous things in this branch. I'm going to especially try to talk about the most dangerous stuff in the branch. So Thorn Hunters can hit you for about, I want to say 660 damage at range. That would probably help if I spelled it right. Yeah, 3d18, so 54 damage potential from this Valley of Thorns, and there's no reason they can't just do it over and over. So beware. They're also fast, so in theory they could actually attack twice, doing 120 damage to you. Or, well, 54 times 2, so like 108. So that's a big deal. That's the maximum, of course, worst case scenario. They are susceptible to fire, so if you have access to something like Fireball, you can kill them really, really quickly. They have 2 attacks, so if they're in melee with you, they're no slouch either. And again, expect them to do this stuff twice because they're fast. They also have Wall of Brambles, which makes a bunch of little plants that sort of serve to stop you from running away. So what we're going to do is we're going to summon a forest and we're going to start shouting. Alright. Fire in general wrecks swamp. Well, yeah, because you can get the steam, you know. Shadows are in here sometimes. If they go invisible and you don't have See Invisible, they can attack you for a ton of damage, so be careful. Alright, so my trees are no longer mad, which is unfortunate. Ooh, and there's 2 Thorn Hunters, but they will not fire through allies, so we're safe for now. Why don't we go ahead and breathe some fire on this guy? It missed. What a shame. Well, check it out. So I don't really feel like taking a ton of damage from the Thorn Hunter right now. So we'll just put a Spire right here, right? And there's no way. I mean, he wouldn't have shot me anyway because this alligator's in the way. But now there's just like he can't even walk next to me because the Spire's there. However, something just showed up that really changed the situation. Before I talk about him, the Shambling Mangrove, I'll talk about, okay, so the alligator, just a guy with damage and hit points, right? Could be dangerous to you because they can sprint, so they'll move quickly up to you, so be aware of that. Swamp Drakes, they have Noxious Cloud, which is just the same thing as Mephitic Cloud. It will confuse you if you don't have Resist Poison. And then you've already seen Tyrant Leeches in Lair, probably. So anyway, yeah. Shambling Mangrove, probably the most dangerous thing in Swamp next to Thorn Hunters. Kind of the same level of danger. They hit like a truck for 41 damage. They are slow, which is thankful. So sometimes they will just not act. Don Kuhn, today I learned that Lajatang's cut off Hydra heads. Yep, they are slicing weapons. Anyway, so Shambling Mangroves, they have Grasping Roots. If you were to... Alright, so this is lame as hell because it makes a sort of vague reference to the fact that marsh fauna are often found nesting within its branches and are not going to take kindly to being disturbed. What that actually means is that if you attack them enough times, chances are good that some freaking hornets will pop out. And if hornets attack you, they stand a chance of paralyzing you every single time. If you have our poise, it's a less of a chance, but it's still there. So you really never want to get hit by a hornet. Also, these guys have that Grasping Roots spell, which destroys your EV by constricting you, makes you take damage every turn, and makes it so if you try to move away, there is a chance that just won't work. So, really, really horrifying, to be honest, that we have one top-tier threat from this hunter, second top-tier threat from this mangrove, and a third top-tier threat from the other Thorn Hunter. Yes, they can para with our Poise Adort. It's just less of a chance. There is always a chance for either to happen. So, what we're going to do is, we have Scrolls of Blinking, so we know we could get out of this if things go really bad. We have what I call an out. As long as I have over, let's say, like 60 hit points, I can get away from this Thorn Hunter. Although I have to be careful. I don't have any heal wounds, so we know this could go badly. Hey, love ya. I'm increasing the size of my streak, and I'm kind of doing tutorials now, explaining a little bit more. Do the mangroves have a chance of spawning spark wasps? Thank God, no. I've never seen that. I certainly hope they don't. If they added that, I'll be a little bit perturbed. Alright, so anyway, let's check it out. We have some evocation skill. We have a lot of evocation skill, 11. So let's just use that. Let's use that to use a Wand of Clouds, which will, because of our evocation skill, have a chance of giving us a really good cloud. We're going to aim it such that it does not hit our spire. You create a blast of flame. That's what we wanted. Yeah, baby. All right, so that's going to do guaranteed. It will hit. There's no missing with a wand of, or there's no missing with a cloud. Every turn, these Thorn Hunters are going to take damage from the fire. Everything here is going to take damage from the fire. And everything is taking damage every turn from these awoken trees, beating the hell out of them. And our Spire will stand a chance of doing some stuff. Unfortunately, what also happened during that turn, roots burst forth from the earth. The grasping roots grab you, the grasping roots constrict you. So I am taking damage every turn. If I move and it successfully moves, there's a chance of failure, of course, then the constriction goes away. But he can just recast it if he wants to. So this is a problem. My evasion, I believe, is nerfed. I think I had higher than 11 evasion before. This is a fight that typically you probably wouldn't want to take. Like, it would not have been outside the bounds of reasonableness for me to just teleport last turn, or even a turn ahead of that. However, my character is really strong. I'm a big boy dragon, and I feel like I can beat these guys. I cannot breathe fire, unfortunately. I'd like to, but it says you can't do that yet because I have that breath mechanic. Just basically, it's going to take a few turns for me to be able to do that again. What I want to do is I want to do as much damage to these guys as possible. I could make a prism. That'd be okay if it actually went off in a couple of turns. But there's deep water, and I can't really place a prism on top of it, so it would have to go, I guess, here. And then there's always a chance that they start attacking it, and it's obnoxious. So what else can we do? None of these guys are resistant to electricity, and what I really want to do is I want to kill this mangrove as fast as possible, which is probably not going to happen because he has a lot of hit points, 91, but we can always try. He is getting slapped around by this awoken tree. So as Anani Badger says, he says lightning rod, question mark, that's what I was getting to. We are going to use the lightning rod, and this will let us damage both of these guys at the same time. I do have to be careful because while I talked about having blink, there's actually a chance that blink doesn't work. Really unfortunate, but that is the case. Okay, now we've got a serious problem, actually. Either of these Thorn Hunters or both could shoot me, so actually I'm at risk of instant death here. It's not very likely, but if they were to both shoot me twice and do max damage, that would be 54 times 4, which is definitely more hit points than I have. With the Spire gone and all the little guys out of the way, that's a big problem. That's a big problem. They're not taking as much damage as I had thought they would. I thought they would die pretty quickly from clouds of flame and trees at the same time, but we've rolled low. Remember, they are susceptible to fire, so they should have. Well, something we could do is we could MO. I should have MO'd last turn, actually. That's what I forgot to do. MO would have made all this stuff explode. I could MO, the alligator will explode, and then this Thorn Hunter will take 3d20 damage times 1.5 due to being susceptible to fire. Then he'll take more damage from the cloud. That would be okay. He might die, but he's only lightly damaged right now, so it's not super likely. If he did, that'd be amazing, because then he would explode, and the mangrove would explode too. The reason I don't feel too great about this is because of the constrict. Like, if I wasn't constricted, I could just walk to the left and get... I mean, some of these clouds would go away, but it would just make the positioning a little better. Tough situation. I shouldn't have taken this fight, basically. Could just start ice blasting. That's not really right. Zerk. That's a legitimate option. That's actually the only option that guarantees that I survive the next turn. And by the way, I'm acting like I'm about to die. It's very unlikely that I would die next turn, like less than 1% easily. They'd have to roll incredibly well for that to happen. Outrageously well. We're going to go ahead and burn a teleport, okay? And this is just going to preemptively, if things really start to go badly, then we know that we're going to get out of this, for sure. within like 3-4 turns. With that said, I shouldn't have taken this fight, such as it is, you know. Привет. How you doing, Mr. Ostrom? Alright, let's check it out. Let's Ice Blast here. This will almost definitely kill this Thorn Hunter. Oh, it didn't. I thought that with the tree damage it would. That's okay. We'll Ice Blast here. There. Both Thorn Hunters are dead. No data to spare? Ah, I see. Okay, now we'll just wait a turn. There we go. And we teleport. So the proper way to handle that situation would have been not to fight all those top-tier threats at the same time. I should have bailed on that fight immediately. If that means burning a telly, that's fine. If that means simply walking away, that's also fine, although the Thorn Hunters are faster than you. It's just a lot of reasons I shouldn't have been there. And that would have eliminated the incredibly tiny, but definitely present chance of death. Chat it up, my boy. Okay. Well, this is about streaking, so we're gonna play carefully. I'm gonna drop Guardian Spirit. That does the same thing as our hat, so there's no stacking that. Notice how he's moving very quickly, but that's okay. We just stab him because we got the Petrify. Sadly, only a 15% chance to petrify the Shambling Mangrove. Okay, we'll make trees. Even a single Shambling Mangrove annoys the hell out of me. Hey, there's a Hornet. Alright, check it out. Sadly, our Dryad is in the way. Normally I wouldn't be carelessly walking through this water because it would slow me down, and I certainly wouldn't be able to walk on the deep water, but I'm an Octopode, so I can travel through this completely unimpeded. You feel a bit more experience, the forest calms down. Oh, right. That was a Hornet dying. Okay, so even after the Dryad dies, I can't summon another forest for a few turns, which is unfortunate. However, my Spire will stop this Mangrove for a turn or two. And I can just go up. Okay, come back down, I can cast a forest again. Cast forest. Damn. He could Grasping Roots me no matter what I do. Let's put up a Spire. That will not stop him from Grasping Rootsing me. That is, Smite targeted, so all I'm doing there is just trying to get some damage. Let's just go Dragon Form. And we're going to be very careful too. Anytime we see a Hornet, we're not going to let them get a turn in melee with us, so that's why I'm spending time petrifying him. Put a Prism there. Wait a turn. Put a Spire here. Did he just hit that and kill it? Yeah, he did. Let's take a step back, just to be sure. Okay, we'll go forward. And we hit the Mangrove once and he dies, because Dragon Form does enormous damage. Okay. Good stuff. Petrify just kind of deals with the easy stuff in here. If you see me petrifying something, chances are good that means that it is a low magic resistance kind of enemy, which means that all kinds of cool things work on it. You know, like Paralyze Wands or Enslave Wands. Don't know why I was stressed. Well, because the worst case scenario is that, yeah, I made it look easy because I played perfectly, but if I didn't, or near to perfectly, but if things... That Grasping Roots spell means that it disables your ability to reset the fight in a guaranteed fashion. Nature's getting absolutely decimated by this octopus dragon hybrid monster. Yeah. Alright, do I want to try to take this fight? I do not, because what could happen here is I could get dragged by this worm right here. Or if I spend even a turn here, like the Hornet could walk right up and attack me in one turn. Yeah, the correct thing to do is to go up. Going back down another staircase. Hello, File of Floods. That's really good to have. Although my poor inventory is screaming at me. Let's drop Curare. They'd still be useful for some of the game, but we just need inventory slots, you know. Swamp Burns have crappy MR. I use Petrify. Swamp Drakes actually have crappy MR, so I use Petrify on them. Bog Bodies have crappy MR. Kind of a theme here. Let's walk away. By the way, Tyrant Leeches are slow, but they move quickly in water. Okay, we're gonna Dragon Form this. Uh-oh. 88 damage. Let's go up. I fly as a dragon, so I also am not slowed in the water. Okay, we got the Petrify rolling on the enormous slime creature. Didn't feel like taking 88 damage, you know. We don't exactly know what's down here, so there could be more. So we'll Dragon Form first to have the 180-ish hit points. Identify. Alright. Nothing to identify. Great. Petrify is really, really good against slime creatures. It's good against a lot of stuff, though. I mean, anything that just straight up turns off threats is going to be nice. Of course, I just cast it like 4 times against a crocodile who had a, 63% chance of falling prey to it, and, like 4 times later he was still not petrified, so you have to be aware that that will happen sometimes. Drop Wand of Disintegration. We shouldn't need that anymore. It's really good in the early game, but less so at this point, although it would kind of be nice to bust out against Hornets. A couple castings of it with good evocations, and they will die. We have petrification, so it's fine. By the way, as far as bad defenses go, I mean, Dragon Form has bad defenses, but for the purposes of Swamp against the sort of bread and butter enemies that are here, like the really simple stuff I'm fighting, it's really not the worst thing. I gotta be wary of these cyan ugly things because they can do electric damage to me. I don't have Aralek in this form. I would have to put on my axe to get that. These guys will change color when they're next to each other. I could use a Wand of Polymorph to force them to change color. Lesser known fact there, but I dropped that due to inventory management concerns. Swamp is probably the easiest of the S branches from your beginner experience. That definitely used to be true. It probably still is true, but it's less of a free branch. It's definitely not a free branch anymore in terms of like they just added a few little things, you know. Like swamp worms pulling you across the level now, yeah, and the Shambling Mangrove Grasping Roots is a huge one. Petrify eventually works. Hello, Thorn Hunter, I'd like to take you at full hit points. Now, Spriggan Riders, it's a Hornet with a Spriggan on top, so they inherit the magic resistance from the Spriggan, even though Hornets have bad magic resistance, and so I only have a 14% chance to paralyze them. They cannot paralyze me, because the attack is from the Spriggan on top with his little lance. Be advised, they do move really quickly, and they attack quickly. Actually, it just covers ground quickly, but still. When you kill it, there's a chance that either the Hornet or the Rider will die, but not both, and then you're stuck with like a Hornet next to you, or a Spriggan next to you. So just be careful. No Krakens, yeah. There's not enough deep water for them to really... I don't know, you could put a Kraken in deep water and swamp. It could be interesting. Alright, here's our first potion of heal wounds since the early game. It's fun. I'm not going to be messing with these potions of stabbing. I think they're pretty much garbage. Anything in this game that constitutes a chance of something working rather than a virtually guaranteed situation, such as this potion of stabbing, like, oh, okay, there's a 50% chance that, yeah, it's awful, they replaced Agi with this. It constitutes like a 50% chance that your stab will be upgraded to the next level. So, okay, you can kill stuff quickly sometimes. And the punishment for it not working is now you're right next to this thing that you were so scared of that you used a resource for. So it's just kind of questionable. You know, other similar resources that force you to be next to the enemy, like a Potion of Might, guarantees that if you hit, you will do more damage, you know? Yeah, when I heard about the Potion of Stabbing, it was such a dumb idea that I thought it was a joke, but I guess it's not. And it's just really poorly implemented for what it is, on top of being a bad idea. So, I mean, maybe it'll make it into a stable version, maybe it won't. It was done by, like, an old-timer dev who generally gets his ideas in the game, so I expect it will get into the game, unfortunately, into the non-trunk. Potion of Stabbing sounds like a mimic that Zom would drop on you. I know, right? Alright, I'm right next to this Shambling Mangrove. Let's, I'd like to summon a forest, but the area is too cramped. I'm just going to try to melee him, and if he poops out hornets, I can just move down and to the left. He just died, though. No hornets. Very good. Just melee this stuff in dragon form. Cool. This would be considered, I think, fairly early, by the way, to have dragon form online, so kind of the wonders of using my experience properly, putting it into the right skills, and also having the help of Ashenzari, pumping my transmutations up and my unarmed, well, not my unarmed combat, but... Dort, I'm trying to think of something equally dumb, but all I'm getting are things that are actually useful. Yeah, I tested the Potion of Stabbing in the early game. I tried to use it against Sigmund, and I almost died. Because it is just like a chance of something good happening. I hate it. Okay, we're going to summon a forest, so this starts taking damage every turn. We're going to go into dragon form, and we're going to eat this thing. It took us down to 131 out of 178, so it's no joke. It's no joke fighting against thorn hunters. Lamp of Fire, really good item. Really good item. I'm very happy to see that here. Guaranteed way to generate fire clouds, which will do wonders against thorn hunters, which are vulnerable to fire. Need to drop some stuff. What else can I drop? I can drop Potions of Flight. I'm never going to need those. I can just turn into a dragon if I want to fly. Get rid of that. Oop. Have I found statue form? Nope. Have I found Vile Clutch? Nope. Have I found anything new that I care about? Doesn't look like it. Potion of Riposte. Oh my god. That would be more useful. Because that's almost a defensive item, you know? I would genuinely be happier to have that item than a potion of stabbing. Oh, I should be careful. This druid can summon animals close to him from elsewhere on the level. He can also use a stone arrow that does pretty good damage. I'm not sure exactly how much. I want to say 45. 3d18, so 54. But he's also fast. He only covers ground quickly, though, so he won't stone arrow you twice in one turn. However, he can cast Awaken Forest, same as my druid, or my dryad. So let's make sure we awaken the forest first, because you can't do that if we've already awakened the forest to be our friend. We're just going to go dragon form. We're going to breathe fire on his dumb ass, walk forward, and beat him. Also, when he dies, he makes all the animals around you mited, which makes them do, I think, 1.5x damage in melee. So be aware. If you have a bunch of hydras around you especially, you're in a very serious... You're going to have a very serious problem. You don't need enchant weapon. So we'll never pick those up again. By the way, we are on Swamp 4. That means that this is the End Vault. Potion of random uselessness, yeah. Okay. I'll just duke it out with this stuff. These ugly things cannot cross deep water, so they'll just kind of stand here not knowing what to do. That'll give us time to petrify all of them. I could have probably just rolled up in here and meleeed them, but that's the safer way to deal with it, is to petrify them first. Alright, so the End Vault is usually going to have some stone. Depending on which End Vault you get, you are going to have to fight different monsters. This one, I think, is Hydra themed. I believe that we're going to be fighting the Lernaean Hydra, which has 27 heads. And represents... By the way, notice how I killed that bog body as quickly as possible as soon as he was in range. Because I don't have RC plus when I'm in dragon form. Anyway, yeah, so it requires special tactics typically to defeat an End Vault. Like, you need to be aware of what's inside of it, and if you aren't, you need to play slowly and carefully. In the case of the Lernaean Hydra, there are certain things that will kill it very quickly. Oh boy. This is obnoxious. Let's lamp these dudes. Bog bodies are susceptible to fire. Actually, wait, no they're not. They're resistant to fire. Whoops. That's okay, they're both constricted, so we will just slap them around until they die. Ouch. Bog body touches you. I don't want to be touched. This is dumb. We're overstaying our welcome. So we go up. Go to another staircase, we rest, and we go back down. This 8-headed Hydra is petrifying. Just stab him. I have Phantom Mirrors. Yep, Phantom Mirror is probably the most straightforward way to kill the Lernaean Hydra, because what you do is you get a copy of that Hydra, and then he proceeds to eat himself. There is, of course, a chance, as Ador says, there's a chance that Lernie will simply kill the clone before it kills her, but kind of a 50-50 shot. Let's just go dragon form here. I should have been a little more careful here, because I was about to say that swamp dragon can shove me off of the staircase, and then he did that. Always be aware of what enemies are around you which can modify your position or control your position in some way, because that is the most dangerous thing. That feel when nothing wants to eat you besides a beer? I have no idea what that means, bro. Anyway, as you can see, there's a lot of Hydras in this End Vault. Back off from this guy. He turns to stone. We rest up. Let's eat a ration. I don't want to be near starving when I fight this stuff. I don't know where Lernie is. She's probably somewhere in here, though. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah, I bet Corona's on sale now. Corona beer, because nobody wants to drink it because of the name. Okay, we're gonna fight this stuff, but we're gonna do it off screen, right? From the druid. So we're only fighting a few things at once. Let's go ahead and make a summon a forest here. I will go ahead and put on my Pro Cold, so I can have RC Plus even in dragon form, just in case I start getting bolted. And then we'll put a Spire here. This could be a lot of enemies, so... let's kill this guy. With his final breath, the Spriggan Druid offers up its power to the beasts of the wild. It will mite things even if you can't see them. See? Corona Beer Company would stop hoarding all the toilet paper. Yeah. Okay. Killed that pack of things. Had to sustain a bit through that fight. But it worked out. Oh, hello. So, why not make use of Ashenzari and use scrying? We saw that there was a big boy enemy, and it was probably Lernae, but it could have been a Thorn Hunter or perhaps a Shandling Mangrove. But no, it's Lernae. There she is, 27-headed Hydra. 27 times 18 is how much damage she can do. Obviously, that's enough to kill me in one shot, so we really do not want to be in melee with her for even one turn. By the way, I just realized I haven't talked about this. Ashenzari also has this transfer knowledge ability, which lets you, as you, basically you use it, and then you name one skill, and then you name another skill, and you can take the experience from that skill and put it into something else as you level up further. So it's like if you have some magic that you don't want to know anymore, for example, which I just realized I do, then you can put it somewhere more useful. So I'm actually going to use this. Typically using this is a sign that you screwed up your build, which I did very slightly by messing around with that bog spell. So we're going to say transfer knowledge, select the source skill, and it's going to be poison magic, select the destination skill. Anything we want more of, let's just put it into dodging. As you forget about poison magic, you feel ready to understand dodging. Sounds good. Because I'm not casting any poison magic. There's no reason for me to have that. Anyway, so here's Lernae. How are we going to deal with her? I'll just show off the easiest, the most straightforward way to deal with her. If you have a Phantom Mirror, just use it. I cannot actually order it to attack, unfortunately, because I can't see the real Lernae. Alright? I can only see him, well, her, whatever. I can only see Lernae due to my scrying. The wall is still actually in the way, so we're going to order our Lernae to retreat. Unfortunately, that means that the other Lernae actually acted first and just ate the shit out of our existing Lernae. What a shame. We're going to shout a bit. Come on. There we go. We are going to now use another Phantom Mirror. And we've just gotten horrible, horrible luck here. So let's summon a forest. Remember, this Lernae is a Hydra, so she moves quicker in water, so I gotta be careful. Better MR, by the way, than a regular Hydra, so if you're wondering why I'm not just paralyzing her like I do with the regular Hydras, she's got more hit dice. Only a 6% chance of that working. I could use Vulnerability Scroll, and that would cut her MR in half and then petrify, but I'm rather close now, which is spooky. Why don't we make a Spire here? She'll spend a turn fighting it, right? And she kills it. Fine. Do that again. She spends a turn fighting it, and she kills it. Do that again. She spends a turn fighting it. Holy shit, this is the Lernae from hell. I thought that would give my... I thought that would kill, that would give my other Phantom Mirror a chance to kill her, but just really bad luck this time. She's just beating ass. Alright. There are times when you Phantom Mirror and your guy just acts immediately and she just dies. Did they nerf Phantom Mirror? I don't think so, but it's not impossible. She's not even hurt. So this is really bad. It's pretty spooky. I'm going to go ahead and use a Scroll of Summoning, which gave me a Swamp Drake, which died immediately, and it gave us a Bog Body and a Spiny Frog. The Bog Body, I mean, this is a joke in terms of, like, we got a very bad summon forest, or sorry, summon scroll, because usually you get more dudes, but it's not terrible because the Bog Body may do the Bolt of Cold, which would slow Lernae. Raga says, why don't I use Scattershot? That would require me to, for it to do its best damage, that would require me to be in melee with her, which is essentially suicide. So I'd rather not, if possible, I'd rather not do that. This is looking more and more like I may end up having to blink. If she were to get like right here, I would definitely burn a blink, and the reason is that she could get random energy the next turn, you know, and swing on me, and then I'm just dead most likely. Searing Ray, haha. Let's just put up a Spire. Bolt of Cold hit Lernie, but did not slow her. Put up another Spire. I want to give my Bog Body time to do stuff. Alright, I'm going to take a step back. She did just get random energy. Amazing. However, I don't feel unsafe because of the Bog Body. We'll take a step away. Yeah. Okay, she'll move quickly because of the water. Damn, this is spooky. We could file a Floods, which would potentially knock her back, but I think unfortunately the safe play is to blink away. I don't want to. I really don't want to burn. I really don't want to burn a blink. We do have one thing we can do here. We could put a Spire right here on the water, and that would save us, like, that would give us one turn to do stuff, but the Spire is definitely going to die if I do that, and there's no real purpose to doing that. I could burn a haste right now, which is something I probably should have. I mean, I was trying to use my less important resources before my more important resources. So haste is really important. I don't have very much of it. Blink is really important. I don't have very much of it. And so I wanted to use that stuff last, and use things like Phantom Mirror, which is less useful. Use things like Summon Scroll, which is pretty useful but not super reliable. Things like that first. And so now I'm in this unfortunate situation where if I were to suck down a haste, Lernie could get random energy, step into the water, and because of random energy and the speed of the water, go forward again, and then also get an attack on me. So if I don't move this turn, there is a chance of death. Haste, dig, and then summon Forest. What would dig do for me? What are you talking about? You can't dig through trees, my friend. Dig does not work on trees. Even if it did, like, haste right now, like I said, there's a chance she would just boom, hit me, and I'd die. It's not likely, but it is possible. The only way... There's really only one 100% guaranteed way to survive the next turn, and that is to use a Blink Scroll. I hate to do this, but I think I have to. Off we go. Alrighty. We didn't even really have to fight her, to be honest. We could have just juked her, teleported around a bit, and grabbed the rune and left, but I'm in it to win it now. Alright, let's just back off. She shouldn't follow us because my stealth score is pretty good. Yeah. Just rest up. I wanted my mana back. Notice how it's like a 47% chance to petrify these guys. Oh god. You know what? I'm just going to save myself some trouble here and Ice Blast this. Stab, stab, stab. We'll take Strength because I want more damage, and Dragon Form. Okay, there's our girl. So how are we going to kill her? So I could vuln her and then petrify and go for the stab, although that is honestly pretty dangerous because if I mistime it, or if I just get unlucky, I don't know exactly how many turns I am guaranteed with petrify. So, you know, if she gets an attack on me, it's real bad. We could do that and kill her with summons though, so that's all right. Why don't we do that? So we have a Scroll of Vuln. There it is. Use it. Petrify. 47% chance it works instantly. Put up Spire. Hey, there you go. You get some days off there, buddy. Hell, why not? We'll do a prism, I guess. We'll put it like right here. Take a step backwards. Take a step like this so my spire can still attack because I need to be able to see it for it to do stuff, I think. Make a summon forest. Now Lernie is petrified. I sure would like to walk up and attack her, but I am too afraid. So instead, we are going to clouds her. Oh, hell yeah, we got negative energy. She'll die, even though she has a big 150 hit points. She will die. My spire can't do anything because, unfortunately, a tree showed up right in the way. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm going into map mode, and I want to be able to see if... I'm placing an exclusion to see... Yeah, I will still be able to see her. I could make a new spire, but I wanted to get distance first. And then now I will make the new spire. Alrighty, she's gonna die for sure inside that cloud. There we go. Well, she just looks like an ordinary Hydra when she's dead. The corpse of the Lernaean Hydra. And there's the rune. There's the decaying rune. Spent way more resources than I would have liked. I'm holding shift and pressing the bracket keys to zoom in and zoom out in map mode, by the way. That was pretty easy. See, I don't think so, because I burned just way more resources than I would have liked. That, to me, was a bit of a scuffed encounter, so to speak. Okay. Consumable attrition. Yeah, that was Leo's phrase. I mean, I could have used my Phantom Mirrors a little bit better, but they are subject to RNG as to where the Hydra will spawn. And so the way that once they spawned in a bad position, it's very hard to get them to do something good, because if they're tiles away from her, as soon as they walk up to her, she will just beat up the clone. If I had used them both at the same time, she would have died. Oh, you mean like back to back? Yeah, I could have. The thing is, the very first one I used, I could have used it in a better position, basically. So it was done slightly wrong, but I mean, whatever. This is what Scrolls of Vulnerability are for, dealing with tough uniques. So I don't feel super bad about it. All right, so we have a rune that opens up vaults to us. We could go to vaults. We could go to elf still, and we could go to spider still. Sadly, we haven't found statue form, which would make spider into a joke. So, what do we want to do? I think we go into elf now, because we can one-shot everything in here in dragon form. And we have really good resistances outside of our elect, which we don't have. And I can just like summon forward. Like, look, we got ambushed by all these fellas. Actually, no, my resistances aren't great, because when I go to dragon form, I lose RN+, and obviously I can't have our elect because only sources are weapons. So I could take a good bit of damage in here. However, I have like 1,000,000 hit points in dragon form. So I mean, I can probably just abuse that. Yeah. And then, like, as soon as I'm hurt, I just go upstairs. There's not really a lot that can mess with your positioning, you know, in this branch. Nothing, actually, now that I think about it. I don't think. I suppose Deep Elf Archers can technically confuse you, but we have so much MR that's not going to happen. Well, also, well, okay, they could slow me, and they could confuse me if I wasn't worshipping Ashenzari, but only in dragon form, because that melds my hat. But, I'm just going to walk up and eat him. there are the scarf things. What are you talking about? Confusing air stuff. Are you talking about Deep Elf Elementalists? They will make... Oh, air elementals. Ah, yeah. Okay, there are air elementals, and they do have vortex, which will move your ass around like a tornado. Okay, this is a Deep Elf Death Mage. He is higher level than the other elves. He typically will not show up on Elf 1. He's got Bolt of Draining, and he's got a Call Lost Soul, which will make a little green guy that if he's around when something dies, he will revive them. So generally want to kill those death mages quickly. Ideally before they start summoning those. +3 Ring of Evasion. Now if we had a... Well, we do have a big stack of Remove Curse. Ordinarily I would put on the Ring of Evasion over one of my existing rings, probably Wizardry. But I don't want to burn my Remove Curses just yet, so this is a minor enough benefit that I'm just going to live without it. Oh, another high-level elf. These guys can do about 60 damage with their Call Down Damnation, or Hellfire, if you'd like to call it that. They can also smite you anywhere on the screen. We're just going to kill him, though. Alone priests are really no big deal. There is a shop, Roga says. Is there? Yeah, there is. It's right there. We'll get to it. Okay, I'm going to put a prism here. So the name of the game in Elf, there's no rune here, okay? So you're not trying to get a rune, you're just trying to get loot. But all the elves, most of the elves, are very fragile. So things like Fulminate Prism that are guaranteed to do damage and totally bypass evasion, really, really good in here. You know? I'm using Dragon Form just because I can, and it's going to one-shot basically everything in here. But, to be honest, Fulminate Prism would have been enough. As long as I could survive the attacks in here, which are essentially you know, resistant, or you would need Omni resistance to not take as much damage. And what I mean by that is, like, they can do fire, they can do cold, they can do lightning, they can do negative, they can do anything potentially based on their books. So, you know, that energy damage really adds up if you're not getting the very powerful halving effect from having a single pip of resistance in that area. So we're still scared of lightning to some degree. And of course there's certain things in here that just do a ton of damage. Like this is another high level elf, for example, a demonologist, and he could banish you to the abyss, but more importantly he could summon a greater demon, which can just take half your hit points away depending on what kind of demon it is. It's pretty spooky. The higher level elves, by the way, have really good MR, so I can't really... Like, I can petrify him, but it's only a 16% chance. I'm just going to show this off, though. Check this out. So I really want him dead right now, and while it's not the worst situation in the world, I'd really like him to be dead. So what I could do if I wanted to is I could scattershot, and with him next to me, like I said, they have crappy defenses, crappy AC especially. So it's just virtually guaranteed gonna kill him. With that said, it's not quite as bad of a situation for me to need that, so I'm just gonna lamp him. Which will take a little longer to kill him, but will kill him. Then we'll attack. The fire's definitely gonna take him out. Let's take this time to go Dragon Form. Did he summon? I think he summoned a greater demon before he died, which of course it disappears as soon as he dies. But we saw there was a red face over here from the Ashenzari ability telling us what's up. Alright, so we aim for the mages first. It doesn't matter what they're summoning for this character, we just don't care. We're just sort of killing the mages. They can only summon minor demons and stuff anyway, so not a huge deal. The shop was an armor boutique, which sadly, we cannot wear any of this stuff on account of being an octopus. I got a little message here. Oh no, it's Dinky. He's calling me a noob. Help, I'm being bullied. Help. No, Dinky was on my last tournament team. He did very, very well. Really cool guy, Dinky. Subscribe to his Twitch. Just kidding, he doesn't have a Twitch. Alrighty, we'll go down to Elf 2 now. I do not fear these little baby elves, really, at all. Whoa, hello. I do fear the amount of damage that these animated weapons can do. Battle Axe of Pain. Oh boy. Summon Forest. Summon Forest does nice, powerful, physical damage, and you're going to see it doing damage to basically everything that's next to a tree, so it's quite good. Something to keep in mind about these animated weapons is they're quick, and they're resistant to pretty much they're very resistant to fire and cold, immune to electricity, poison, negative energy, so I can't really lightning rod them like I'd like to. Do we still have Blink Scroll? Yeah, we will just fight this stuff, because I do a ton of damage in melee. Ouch. Damn. You know what? This is worth using a Clouds. Well, the thing is, the Clouds Wand, the only way that the Clouds Wand will actually do damage to the Battle Axe of Pain, real damage, is if I get Acid, and I don't know if my evocations is high enough to get that. That's like the best one. Ironically, I could just Searing Ray him, which is, you know, it's non-elemental damage, so it's nice. Fulminate Prism would do really well, but unfortunately it takes a couple turns to activate. I think I'm just going to attack him, and he dies. Good. That was the biggest source of damage there, because we're not resistant to negative energy, and it was a pain attack. Now that he's dead, we're just going to focus on the Deep Elf Knight, who, oh my god, just did amazing damage to me. He has no AC. Let's get rid of him. Something has no AC, Scattershot will kill it instantly. Okay. This is way riskier than I'd like. I'm taking some big risks here. I wish I had more heal wounds. Let's see, 22 damage plus the War Axe of Freezing. Damn. Damn. That is good damage. I don't think it can kill me, but if it gets both attacks, maybe. Maybe. How's his AC? 3 pips. Yeah, Scattershot's not likely to kill him. I don't want to burn my last blink. That's very wasteful. I think I'll just attack. Alright, good. He dies. And then, perfect opportunity for me to just throw up a Spire. And I'll just walk away. I'm safe now. Well, this guy blinked, unfortunately. Or simply walked around, but that's okay. We'll, what will we do? 57% chance to paralyze. We could do that. Let's do that. He's paralyzed. Good. Walk away. Go up. Reset the fight. See how important resetting fights is? So that's a great example of a fight that I just stayed in for too long. We're slow right now. Damn. Whoa! This short sword of draining is draining the hell out of me. I have red drain now. My skills are annihilated. Holy crap. That's what happens when you're meleeing something without resist negative and you're also slowed. That can happen so quickly, just a few turns. And also we were just missing with the dragon form, which does happen. This is why I really like to run with Vile Clutch if I can get it. If I use dragon form, because then you're not gonna miss, you know, your attacks. That's a big problem. We now have a 56% fail rate on dragon form. That's really bad. That's bad to the extent that I may have to leave here. That was a big mess up on my part. Whoops. Look how low my skills are. Wow. Let's go into Spider Nest. Which is going to be a little bit, Oh, God. Our first floor of Spider is a wide open floor. If you remember last session, I talked about how you'll usually get one of these, and it's going to be very dangerous. Sadly, ours was on the first floor, which is always the worst. Let's cause fear. Let's cause fear again. Okay, the melee can do a lot of damage to me, right? That's why I did cause fear, because I wanted some of them to be out of the equation. Let's go ahead and MO, and then we're gonna make use of our evocations here. Explosion, explosion, good. We have RF plus right now, so I'm not afraid of this thing exploding. We're gonna teleport, by the way, most likely. This is a great place to use resources, to be honest. Let's fear again first. Crap, our fear spell power is really low on account of the fact that we're so drained. Check it out. We're gonna do this. That'll explode, that'll kill the other melee, that'll reduce the amount of damage that I'm taking. And this guy, I would like to not be next to me when he explodes if possible, but that's not going to happen. Could just go up, but then I'm sort of creating the situation where this staircase is covered in enemies, you know, which is an issue. Ouch. The only thing that's doing damage to me right now is this melee right here. Everything else can't do damage at range. Let's see if we can't kill him before we go up. Nope. Okay, that's fine. We'll go up. The only thing that follows is the demonic crawler. We've created a bad situation, but that's okay. Demonic crawlers are fast. They will chase me down faster than I can run away. So we do have to deal with this dude. He is resistant to electricity. Why don't we just... What did you miss? What happened is I was in Elf, right? I was in Elf, and I was next to a short blade of draining for like 3 turns, and I didn't have our negative because I was in dragon form, and the RNG made it so I missed like 4 times, and so I got drained to red drain, and so I decided to go to Spider to get some of that experience back, because as you gain experience, your drain goes away. And then it turned out my first floor of Spider was unfortunately one of those very difficult wide open floors instead of the ones with walls. So, teleport, 1, 2, 3. We'll take this fight at full hit points. So now we've got kind of a locked off Spider, which is fine. But most of my spells are not really castable. It's 100% my fault though, because what I should have done as soon as I realized what was going on, I should have either blinked away from the draining dagger or used like a summon forest or something, you know, something to create space. Probably not blink, because that's a big waste of good resources, you know. How can I kill this thing easily? We want to use Fulminant Prism is what we want to do. Like so. Wait a minute, am I already... Did I not actually heal to full? I did not. That's fine. He should die. I have a shield. He only does like 13 times 3 damage maximum, and that's split up into so many attacks that I'm bound to block. There we go. Alrighty, that was lame as hell. I probably shouldn't have even fought that without full hit points, but that's okay. This drain is killing me. Alright, so we want to think about where we can go to get experience. The reason I don't really want to be an elf is because it's just all my best tools are locked off to me now. And I kind of need to be really strong to deal with that. Let's see how Vaults looks. Sense a monster nearby. Hydra easily resists. Yeah, our spell power is lower, by the way. Oh, he got random energy. That's cool. Ouch. 7 heads, very dangerous for this character. Really a big shame that he got random energy and ended up right next to me, but that's okay. We'll just run away from him until the random energy is actually correct for us, is good for us. There's a lot of stuff on this floor. Okay. So what we want is to have a gap between me and him so I can safely go up. It's kind of a shame that I left a Hydra on this floor, damn. Okay, now we'll go for the Petrify. That actually finally works. Stab, stab, stab. Okay. Alright, let's see what Vaults looks like. Alright, you hear a distant wind. There's a portal to the Desolation of Salt. We probably don't want to go there. On account of the fact that we are weak right now from the drain, and that is a very hard branch. How many runes so far? We have the Decaying Rune of Zot, and that's it. I was doing Elf a little bit early, and I got drained really hard, and so now we're dealing with that unfortunate situation where I have a very high fail rate on the spells I was using. Let's see, can I die here? No, but it's close. So we will paralyze the two-headed ogre. I used the Wand of Clouds because I didn't want this ogre mage to be able to just kill me, although now he hasn't died yet, and he has the ability to LCS me for like 100 damage, so that's not good. Why don't we just Ice Blast him? He'll probably die. Yeah, there we go. Really unlucky that there was a Vault Warden right here. Is he quivering anything? Can he use range on me? No, he can't. So we will simply paralyze this Yaktar. He resists. Paralyze. It works. We will Lightning Rod here, which will almost definitely kill the two-headed ogre. Stab. Now we're in melee with this guy. 40% chance to petrify. I think I would rather paralyze. That's only 31%. It's a great place to use a net. Just attack the warden. There we go. Little mini stabs because he's in the net. Wardens can lock off the staircase until you until a bunch of time passes or until you kill them. It's a real shame that we got the Desolation of Salt, by the way, the portal vault, because there's a bunch of really good items in there typically, but it's incredibly difficult usually for the time in which you find it. And so, if we were at full power, so to speak, we might have been able to do it right now. But we're not. Trying to get the stab here. Wow, our stabs are significantly weaker. I guess that'll happen when your short blades is effectively 2. Normally we'd be one-shotting these things. It's okay though. Nice. So yeah, I'm not concerned at all about getting to the portal on time. I don't even think I want to go into it. We do happen to know that it's up here. I suppose my drain is no longer dark red, it's only light red, which is still quite bad. But that means that we are significantly closer to back where we were. 14% fail rate on Dragon Form. We can almost cast it. I mean, we could cast it. It's just a risk of getting mutated. See, if we had our actual skills, we might have one-shotted that Vault Warden. What caused the drain? Oh god. That is Pestilence. Sure wish I had Blink. Like the spell, not the wand. I'm just gonna have to live with being in this cloud. Let's paralyze this fella. Stops moving. That can slow you and drain your... it's not draining, but it's... it rots you, so I'm gonna have to drink a potion of curing. Also poisons you really hard. Alright, so what caused the drain? It was an animated weapon of draining, and my negative resistance goes away when I'm in dragon form because it melds my hat. And basically I just missed the short sword of draining like 4 times, and it was enough that it got a ton of attacks on me and drained the crap out of me. 100% my fault. I should have reacted quicker instead of just letting that happen. But that's how it works. This is dangerous. We could be paralyzed here because we're in dragon form. Let's not be paralyzed here. Let's scattershot the wizard to kill him instantly. So I'm actually trying to get to this this portal. And we'll just see if it's any good, you know? See if we can do it. All these pillars of salt. Of ordinary races, elves and humans and dwarves. This could be okay. I do wish that Brilliance worked the same way it used to, because it used to give you a chance to cast spells, a higher chance to be able to cast spells correctly. Now it just gives you spell power. In Trunk, I don't know if that's going to remain the same way, but I suspect it will. Really a problem. Doesn't do a whole lot for this character, to be honest. However, look, all our stuff is basically castable again, so I think we can do this. We can make this work. So, welcome to the Desolation of Salt. It's very bright. Hope your eyes feel good. Mine are feeling great staring at this bright-ass screen. It's a big square. There's a few structures on it, and there's a high probability of getting swarmed at some point. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a beeline sort of for the corner. Damn. Okay, so that guy shouted. That's annoying. Now these little guys here are magic immune, the Peacekeepers. And so are the little saltlings. Scrying through clouds is very strong. That's a good point. I probably should be scrying all the time. Why don't we go ahead and turn that on? That is not something that I thought of because I don't play a lot of Ashenzari, but that will give me an idea of telling me what's going on, because this place generates these damn clouds of salt, which will very much not let you know what's coming to own you. Information advantage, you know. Alright, so these are basically constructs, right? So that, like most constructs, like most non-living, non-undead things, they're going to be resistant to most energies or immune to them. So, while I'd like to burn a clouds or something on them, it's just not going to do much for me. Let's go dragon form. Let's just kill this stuff. Also, the Peacekeepers can do the Manticore sting to you. Yeah, we're in Saltland. They can also mite their friendly little saltlings, which do 20 damage, but it's probably closer to like 30 when they're mited. So we're just going to melee them. Melee this, melee that. Guardian Serpents, we see these in other branches like Snake. They can blink. The biggest thing they do is blink dudes around you. So we don't want to be surrounded by all the dudes that he can see. So we're just going to kill him. Servant of Whispers, he's unique to this little mini branch, Portal Vault. They can make all the clouds go away, and they can lightning bolt you. We don't have Arlek in dragon form, so we try to kill him quickly. So I'm making a beeline for the top left. And this way... This way I can sort of... fight fewer things at the same time. This Ragged Hierophant can Injury Bond, which is a spell that some other dudes have, which, you know, makes it so they take some of the damage that other guys around them would have taken. And then Resonant Strike is the scariest thing, where they do more damage to you based on how many constructs are around you. So we kill the constructs. It can do some damage even if there's no constructs, so be advised. Our drain is almost gone. I'm actually really happy about this, that we decided to go into the Portal Vault, because we're going to get some loot, and possibly good loot. This is a graphical glitch, by the way. I can't actually see these guys down here. They may not be there anymore. They may have woken up. I'm trying to kill the Hierophant. It's not easy. Are we still transferring knowledge? I don't think we are. By the way, look at my poison magic. It was 10 before, and now it's almost nothing. I think eventually, once it transfers enough skill, then it runs out, and you have to do it again. So we're going to use it again, and we're gonna put the rest into unarmed combat, because I really would like to be able to attack faster and harder as this dragon. Honestly, I'm at the point where it's like, I'm training transmutations, but I don't even want to. I think I really want to dump all of my training into unarmed combat. Being able to attack quicker is like the most important thing right now. I'll also take translocations to 5 for the sake of Summon Forest. Although it probably was 5 before. It's kind of weird because the draining is reducing it, and then Ashenzari is increasing it, and you know. Hey, CC Late, how you doing? Yeah, I could have scryed again, Perpetual Blur. I just wasn't worried because not too many things were coming. Alright, check it out. I want to pull some of these dudes, but not all. This is an Imperial Myrmidon. I still cannot believe how goddamn lazy the devs were, just changing Agony into Agony range for monsters, but screwing over the player and giving them the crappy version of Agony. It's so silly. This is the Salt Place. This is the Desolation of Salt. Anyway, something to bear in mind is, in addition to being able to confuse and slow you and take away half your hit points with Agony, if they attack you, they can reduce your resistance to... It can reduce your MR by half. Just like a Vuln Scroll, so let's not let that happen. Let's try to paralyze. 37%. Didn't work. That's fine. Let's just melee him and kill him before he takes away half my hit points, and that worked out. Took more turns than I would have liked, though. So check it out. This positioning is wonderful. I love this little structure, because I can just kill stuff almost one at a time. So I'm moving. Every time I see that Halazid Warlock, I'm just walking so that he can't see me. And that was just so I could sort of rest up and get my hit points and whatnot back. I'm going to shout and see if he can hear me. I guess he didn't. Didn't hear a shout back. Oh, hey, look! It's the orange crystal plate armor. Let me just put that on my tentacles. That would have been a really fun find on certain characters, but definitely not this one since we can't wear it. In fact, this entire loot pile is nothing I can use, so well. Alright, this is more stuff than I'd like to fight. So we're going to back off. Gonna go dragon form. Now, I know I can walk away without him doing his little Manticore barb thing at me. Because every time I walk, there's 2 tiles of salt between me and him. So he actually can't see me. Oh, he must have moved before me there. Well, that's not how that works. Huh, maybe I'm wrong. He used his volley. Oh, no. Okay, what happened is there was... The cloud randomly stopped being there, so I got a little unlucky. That's okay. We'll just wait for the barbs to end after killing him. Helazid Warlock. He's the fanciest guy in this branch. There's many copies of him. He can bolt if draining you. He can do shadow creatures, which is really dangerous because it summons a lot of the dangerous things that are in this branch, or this portal vault, if you want to call it that. Ghostly Sacrifice is kind of funny. It'll kill a construct and then do a bunch of negative damage to you, I think. Bolt of Cold, just cold damage, and Abjuration, which kills your summons. We're just going to beat his ass. Dragon Form, the answer is usually go up and beat the enemy's ass. That's typically, or lure one or two of the enemy to you, then beat their ass. All right, let's normally I would probably want to scry here and see what's up, but my piety is for some reason low, so it's not maxed. There's the summon creatures. Summon shadow creatures. Okay, so see how we're just kind of fighting these dudes one at a time? It's working out great. Dragon Form is pretty much the king of fighting things one at a time. You will almost always win in a knockdown, drag-out, one-on-one brawl with something next to you, and you're in Dragon Form at full hit points, you know? If you start out at full hit points, I assure you, there's not a whole lot that's going to kill you when you're in Dragon Form, if you're only fighting one thing and you start out with it next to you somehow. And you can always start out with it next to you if you use proper positioning. Alright, we found some spells. Shock, Meph Cloud, Hailstorm, which is a new one. Blink, Shout of Galubria, Lesser Beckoning, Teleport Other, Passage of Galubria. We actually found some really good spells there. We're going to learn Blink first. This is not like the Scroll Blink, this is the Spell Blink. If I cast it, I teleport somewhere within the line of sight. That instantly gets me out of basically any problem, as long as it sends me to the right place. Obviously there's some RNG involved there. Also, if you try to blink out of any kind of constrict, there is a chance that it fails. You learn to love Abjur and Zot. Saved you against Cursed Toes. Yeah, it's alright. I don't usually use it, but it's not bad. Let's take a look, just because I'm curious. We're not going to learn this probably, but let's take a look at Hailstorm. Conjures a cannonade of hail. The peculiarities of magic, aka whatever Ebering the dev pulled out of his ass that day, involved in creating the hail, prevent the spell from hitting monsters adjacent to the caster. Alright. Due to the impact and cutting edges, a significant portion of it bypasses cold resistance, however, creatures made of pure ice are immune. Alrighty, it's a level 4 spell, it's 2 schools. I suspect the spell is actually not bad. From what I'm told, it does good damage. But the odd layout of its attack, where it attacks sort of everything around you except for what's right next to you, you know? Like, it won't hit these tiles, but it will hit the ones, I think, in an area, like, sort of around them. Seems wacky. This guy isn't really much of a blaster anymore. We do have some spell levels. We trained a good bit of spell casting, so we could fool with it, I guess. But typically we're more about, this character is more about pulling things to us with good positioning, and then just like killing them one-on-one with Dragon Form. And if we really have to fight something at range, we're pretty much doing it with summons. And that's, more often than not, that's going to be the combination of things on your caster that you want to do instead of trying to be some kind of blaster. I mean, you could be a blaster, but this character is not, even though he started as a conjurer. Hey, Alexander, thank you for the follow, my friend. Even though he started as a conjurer, that doesn't mean he's got to be a blaster for the whole game. And especially as an Octopode, transforming is really something that is helpful, you know? Given that your base form has such bad defenses. Anyway, what we're going to memorize instead is we're going to finally memorize Deflect Missiles, okay? Something I've been wanting to do for a while, something that would have been helpful for a lot of this game. We're also going to memorize Passage of Galubria, which we can already cast. It's a wonderful little spell, which is translocations, like I said, translocations only. And the way it works is it's kind of like having a controlled blink all the time. So I'll just show it off. So I press the D key, because that's what I put it on, capital D, and then we have a targeting. We have a targeter here. We choose a location. Oh wait, I accidentally moved. So we chose a location, and then what happened is these two little things showed up. There's a passage here and a passage here. I move into one, and this goes away over here. If I were to step away, I would see that it's gone. And then I instantly get transported over to this passage. All right. If I do this again, but I'm standing on it already, it's going to make two more. And the one that I'm on right now is still around. I can actually enter it like a staircase if I want, like doing the right caret, shift and then, forward slash. Actually, no, sorry. Shift and then period on your keyboard, the right caret, like you're going up the stairs, or down the stairs, rather. We will go into a random, either this one or this one. It could have just as easily ended up in this one. Any of the passages that are on the board right now, I'll go into a random one. And I could cast this a bunch of times if I wanted to, and just end up in a random one every time. And monsters can go into those too. As NG Matt says, he says he'll get passage on any run I play for safety. I've never actually remembered to use it. It's really, really useful for safety. Because now it's like, let's say these things are chasing me. Oh no, I gotta get away. Oh no, I'm gonna die. Oh, okay, now I'm super safe because I'm like 10 tiles away. I just need a turn to set it up, basically. Let's learn some charms. We're going to learn some charms. We're actually going to take charms all the way to 10, come to think of it. And the reason for that is because we want to get demissile online. That'll make us very, very unlikely to take a lot of damage from ranged attacks. It's just really, really helpful. Any ranged attack that's subject to evasion anyway. Just going to tab this stuff. Oh, watch out for these dudes. These Ironbrand Convokers. Hey, he has a Ring of the Octopus King. These Ironbrand Convokers, they're from the vaults, but they also show up here. They can might their friends, and they can also Word of Recall, which after a few turns will summon things from elsewhere on the level. We're going to try to paralyze him a couple times, and unfortunately we got really unlucky and it failed both times, and then he summoned all of his friends. What a shame. This is actually quite bad. We don't have Aralek, and there's 3 things around that can lightning bolt us. Really horrible. So what we're going to do is we're going to suck down our potion of resistance. Then we're going to scattershot these guys. But he has a little bit of AC, so it doesn't kill him instantly. I'm going to lamp, actually. Whoa! I lamped and I didn't get clouds. Why? Because they have that Still Winds ability that can take clouds away. Whoops. This is really bad. We are surrounded. Let's even the odds a little bit. Summon a forest, get more friends. Fun little combo we can do here. One of them is actually going to have to spend a turn casting Still Winds to stop this, I think. Oh, wait, no. No. It's an ongoing effect, minus clouds. So what I was going to say is I could breathe fire on this servant and get steam now because the summoned forest made water. But that's not necessarily... I don't even think I'm going to get the damage from that because of the Still Winds. Nevertheless, we're going to do that. Because it's going to do a lot of damage to exclamation points each. Very good. Okay, that didn't kill them though. God damn. These are some king pimp enemies here. I would love to just like Ice Blast myself and do a shitload of damage to everything, but like right here, that'd be a lot of damage. But the problem is that I am sort of at risk for taking a ton of damage myself right now. Even with the resistance up, it could still happen. You know what would actually be useful here is the new version of Mystic Blast, which I amnesia'd. We could blink away from this. I think I'm just going to fight it, though. I think I'm just going to melee this stuff down. That dies, that dies. What's the biggest threat now? Obviously, we don't want these Convokers to summon more dudes, but I think, outside of getting slowed, which would certainly suck, I think that this Servant, 10 damage plus club, who cares if he's mighted? Most damage probably comes from being lightning bolted, but they won't lightning bolt me because they actually won't even cast that because they would hit their allies. So I think the biggest threat is actually the Guardian Serpent because he attacks quickly. Okay, he's dead. I actually killed the Hierophant as well because he had injury bond up and was absorbing some of that damage. Now this is interesting. Paralyzed chance, 56%. This guy is Word of Recalling. We really don't want more guys to show up here. So we could do that. I think I'm actually just going to burn a Fear Scroll, though. Which is going to make me start taking less damage because less things are hitting me. It's also going to interrupt, if it works, which it did work, it interrupts his Word of Recall. And I had a bunch of Scrolls of Fear. I certainly could have cast Cause Fear, but I think my spell power is still bad enough that... on that that the Scrolls probably have a higher chance of success. Plus, didn't use up any of my mana, and there's no chance to fail. There's no chance to miscast. There is a chance that it could just not work. All right, now we're actually gonna aim for the more damaged one, even though he's not mited. This guy's constricted now. We're definitely gonna kill him in one hit. See, nothing misses, and I just beat the hell out of him, and he dies. Now we'll go down, and, oh no, he's summoning, but he's also held by my Snaplasher Vine, so, doop. He just dies instantly. This guy is being constricted, but he's also summoning. We may not get there in time, so we probably want to burn some resources. We'll just, we'll Lightning Blast him. Oh, no! We can't rot anymore, because the Dryad will get mad if we blast through her. We'll just Ice Blast. Damn it! He actually succeeded. Amazing. Alright, this is dumb. We are just taking this fight, and taking it, and taking it, and taking it, and, you know, it's lasting too long. So we're just going to use Passage. We're going to use Passage again. Go inside, go inside. You can't chase me, I'm too fast. It's like being, you know, speed 30, you know, you just get away. Did killing him remove the minus clouds, or did it go away by itself? I think, I'm not positive, but I think that killing the Servant of Whispers will take away the clouds effect. I can test it right now. Yep, takes it away. Oh man, is he summoning? Yeah, he summoned. Okay, so sometimes Passage will screw you. This is a good situation for me to cast Blink. I'll make another Passage. Over there now. Hopefully we don't end up in the bottom right. But if we did, we could simply take the portal again. We're actually going to wait a few turns, so they're heading this way. Okay, that way I don't just get hit when I go through this portal. So I just keep entering portals until I get the one that I actually want. Bear in mind, enemies can walk into these portals and really screw you over, so try not to let that be a thing that kills you. Just melee the Convoker. Whoa! Yeah, right, he has Draining. Let's, wow. That did good damage. What's his defense like? 2 AC? Damn. Spooky. Let's check, actually, how much damage he can do. Elazid Warlock. I want to say 60. 3d25. That's 75. He could actually kill me now. Not good. Not good. Yeah, because I don't have resistance in our negative, he could one-shot me at this point. 3d27 on the Bolt of Cold, but I have cold resist, so I'm less afraid of that. And if I go back into Octopode form, I'm going to have significantly less hit points. So we have to use a resource to guarantee survival. That's going to be Blink or it's going to be Silence. Once we have D-Missile online, by the way, it's going to be better. We're going to not take as much damage from bolts. They're just going to curve around us most of the time. Let's burn Silence. This is fine. We'll just melee this dude. He can hit me for 20 plus pain, but it's very unlikely that he'd get me with that. Alright, let's actually cast. Let's go ahead and cast that. I know it's 24% chance of failure, but the way it works is once I have it cast, it just sort of sticks on me, see? And there's a chance every time that it deflects something that it'll go away. I'm going to scry. I want to know what's coming. Okay, it's just Saltlings. If it had been, you know, a gaggle of bullshit, I probably would have teleported. But it was just Saltlings. You can think of them as non-living orc warriors, basically, with their 20 damage. Okay, we're full hit points now, so I'll just beat the asses of everything that I come across. What happens when there's only one portal for Pog? Can you still enter it? Nope. Just doesn't work. Tower Shield of Protection. Formerly known as a Large Shield of Protection, but everything's got a change name for no good reason. Alrighty. That's actually a pretty good find. We may end up using that at some point. Sadly, it requires 25 skill to totally get rid of the penalty, but that's okay. That's okay. We can do that. Have a nice little benefit from Ashenzari, you know. Just mopping up, we've pretty much cleared everything. Alright, take one last look at this place to see if there's anything we missed. I'm less impressed with the loot than I probably would have been. But that's okay. The Ring of the Octopus King. Do I have statue form? Boy, I wish I had statue form. Sadly, it has not spawned. That would really make my life easier. I was thinking maybe we'll find it in the gigantic loot pile in Elf. That was indeed one of the reasons I decided to go to Elf relatively early. But hey, we have D-Missile up now, which is something, if I had been thinking straight, I would have probably tried to get online before going into Elf. Not that that would have helped me with the problem I had in there, but still. Fully undrained, we can go back here. I can drop Poison Resist, because I can just go into Dragon form for that. I could probably drop Fire Resist, because I could just go into Dragon form for that. Might be a stat formless run. It's possible. Certainly possible. I could make it work. Let's, I care more about having positive energy resistance than cold resistance right now. I do have 4 scrolls of Remove Curse, so we could fool around with our rings a bit. Basically, I want to have... I want to have negative energy resistance while I'm in dragon form for the purposes of this branch. I mean, I'd like to have cold resistance too. I'd like to have resistance against everything, Aralek even. But it's just I just don't have the items, you know. The items just haven't shown up, you know. So I'll need to play a little bit more carefully and sort of pay attention to what's going on, you know. And we can always swap if there's some kind of problem. Auto-explore, auto-explore. Okay, floor 2 is done, except there's the Hall of Blades, which is not a portal vault, but instead simply a place where you can find a lot of animated weapons and possibly Blade Masters. Yes, I am playing Trunk. Okay, we're gonna open this up. We didn't have to, but the thing is that this is just like This is essentially free experience for this character. I can kill this stuff and not really have a problem. I can just tab, 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 kill it all, you know? Okay, that was my D-missile dropping. I have a little RC file note that makes it flash the screen when it says you feel less protected from missiles because I deflected the bolt of magma. So, let's cast it again and go right back to work. Look, these bolts just flying past me, it's great. Damn, trying to venom. This vampiric double sword is really beating me up, so we'll use a file of floods. It bounces him a little bit. It knocks him back a little bit. We're low on hit points, so these guys will not attack, unfortunately, the Deep Elf Knight because he is invisible. So we're going to have to do it ourselves here. There we go. I can have them attack this other elemental. I really hate the fact that they removed regen from the game, because if we had regen right now, this would be a lot more simple. It's unpleasant. Okay, Perpetual Blur says it's unpleasant to do Elf 3 without doing Hollow Blades first, since you can't use escape hatches. Yep, that is something that I have always said. If you can do Hollow Blades safely, you should do it, because in effect it makes your Elf 3 easier, because then you can go up a hatch and not have to worry about being dumped into the Hollow Blades, which is filled with enemies. They took regen out because they're dumb, and I don't want to be mean, but their stated reasons never make any sense, never are consistent with their stated philosophy. They took it out because it was, as they say, a no-brainer, which is not the case at all, in any sense of the word. I don't understand how you could describe it as a no-brainer, actually, because, let's teleport out of this. We did something silly. It's too many things here. There we go. Because the thing is, like, you don't always cast it in combat. Yeah, D-missile dropped. You don't always cast it in combat because it represents a loss of time, like turns, and a loss of mana. So there are times that you don't want to cast it. If you don't have the skill to cast it, it's not a no-brainer to, like, oh, I always want to get regen. There are plenty of characters that don't want to cast spells at all, maybe because their attributes or their aptitudes are not good, or they worshipping a god that doesn't want them to cast regen. There are a few of those, or other reasons. They need other skills more. You know, it's only level 3, but it was 2 schools, and you know that represents a big challenge for somebody in heavy armor. You know, and basically it's just dumb because there are so many other spells. For example, like Summon Lightning Spire, that I will get on literally any character that can cast spells. And it's like, oh, well, we don't want no-brainers in the game, but this has been around for years, and they've been telling people, or the people have been telling the devs for years that this is broken, and they don't change this. And then, like, Vile Clutch was put in by the head dev Gamafunk, who refuses to acknowledge that it's broken as hell, and there's no reason not to get it on almost every caster character. You don't like regen because it's a spell I should ideally cast every fight on a character that has it. Well, so is D-Missile. So if that's... You should ideally cast it before every fight. I will cop to that, but the same is true of a variety of spells. I mean, you should ideally, if you have Bolt of Fire and you're at a certain point in the game, you should ideally cast Bolt of Fire at the beginning of every fight. Oh, Bolt of Fire is a no-brainer. Let's take it out. You know. Right, but the reason I brought up D-Missile is, like, if you really thought that was a problem, you could simply change regen to act like D-Missile, and maybe have some other downside to it. And so it's like the fact that they zeroed in on regen was bizarre, because what it effectively did was it buffed the good gods for the extended, because now there's no way to do extended in a convenient fashion without simply going the Shining One, because regen was borderline necessary to make extended less of a headache, and now it's just like it was already a huge headache. Now it's like a way bigger headache, you know, for anybody who's not worshiping the Shining One. Anyway, here we are. I stopped playing because I wanted to talk a little bit about this. This is a Blade Master. He is a higher level elf. He's the only elf that's good in melee. He hits really hard. He hits really fast. He is actually a bit of a problem for this dragon because he can give me a run for my money in melee. So we're going to, while we could kill him really quickly, what I'm going to do instead is make a bunch of summons, and what we're doing is we're basically waiting for the snap. There we go. I was waiting for the Snap Lasher Vine to constrict him. Now that he's constricted, oh, that ended. Damn. I wanted his evasion to be nerfed. That's okay. I'll just melee him. There we go. The biggest thing is he can dodge my attacks, so I wanted that not to be the case. Now, I would love to use the utterly broken spell Borgnor's Vile Clutch for that, but we haven't found that, and we haven't found stat form. So let's live with what we've got. That's DCSS. You gotta live with what you got. You gotta live with what the game gave you. You gotta make lemons. You gotta make lemonade out of lemons. And I can't complain. We still have a lot of the best tools, that this character could ask for. The fact that we have Dragon Form is good enough. Spire, Passage, Summon Forest, Demissile. I mean, we've gotten some of the best tools. Some of the best tools. We can make it work. Could possibly go into summonings a little bit more, actually. Summon demons, not bad. Dragon's Call, of course, is late game, but we could get that online at some point. It's not the best summon spell that I could ask for. I'd rather have something like Summon Horrible Things, but it's very good. But that's neither here nor there. We're busy training up charms to increase the spell power on Demissile, which makes it more likely to make attacks miss, and we're busy training unarmed combat. Eventually, I am probably going to transfer my Hex skill into something else, and simply get rid of Cause Sphere and Fulminate Prism, since those will become less useful later on. But not yet. It's a good stab. We're on Elf 3 now. I need to be... If I was anybody other than an Ashenzari worshiper, this would constitute a floor where I'm very scared, because if you were to get teleported into the End Vault with an Exploration Trap, that's super bad. Fortunately, we are immune to Exploration Traps as Ashenzari, so we know that's not going to happen. Alright, this is the End Vault. You can tell because there's a bunch of stone and there's like a little hallway here. Deep Elf Sorcerer can send us to the Abyss. He can do an Acid Bolt, which does a ton of damage. He can do Hellfire, if you're Damnation, if you want to call it that, for 60 damage. And he can haste himself to double up his actions. Well, not double up, but you have to assume it's double. It's actually 1.5, I think. But anyway, it means that in the worst case scenario, he can do like 120 damage to you in one turn. What we were going to do is we're going to dig. We're going to dig. And now, we just attack. And if I were to miss, if this guy were to, like, let's say he hits me with the Crystal Spear for 104 damage. Deep Elf Annihilator. I think it's 104 is the max. 3d34, 94, 98, 102. 102 damage, which is more than half my hit points. If he were to do that, we would simply use a Scatter Shot to virtually guaranteed kill him. But that's probably not going to happen. Okay, that's annoying. The Elementalist saw me. Down here, okay, so Deep Elf High Priest can do 60 damage to me from anywhere with the Hellfire. Elementalist can turn, among other things, it can turn walls into can turn walls into Earth Elementals, so he can screw up the kill hole that I just made, and he sure did. So that's okay, because we have wand charges to spare. Let's go up. The Earth Elementals that he summons, they are just summons. They're not durably summoned, so I can go up and rest, and they're gone when I come back down. Then we can walk right up to him and beat his ass. Typically want to close the distance with these High Priests because they will not Hellfire you if they are right next to you. They don't want to hit themselves. So now he can only do like 17 damage to me. Let's make a forest for this. Can probably melee him, it's just a little questionable. Pull this up. This is a draining, that was a draining weapon, but see, I have my positive energy ring on now, so that's not going to take quite so much of my skill every time it hits me. It's another one of these guys. I probably should swap on my RC for him, because technically he could put up a freezing cloud, but instead we just kind of kill him. Okay, Deep Elf Master Archer. These guys hit incredibly hard. 25 doesn't seem like a lot, but he shoots extremely quickly, so 2, 3, 4 shots, not unheard of. That's like 100 damage possible, you can safely assume, and it's actually more than 25. It's 25 plus longbow, plus he has this Master Archer flag that makes him do a little more. Just assume they can do like 100 damage to you per turn, and you probably won't go wrong. So we're going to take a look at his MR, look at this. Paralyze, 11% chance, not good, obviously. We're going to dump a File of Floods on his head. That puts an enemy, that puts an ally of mine in front of him, stopping him from shooting his little arrows at me for the most part. Oh, it's a longbow of flaming too. Ooh. Now we have D-missile, so he's not super likely to hit me. But, I mean, he hits so many times that he'll just turn off the D-missile, fairly likely, over a long enough time period. So I took a step forward, he killed the File of Floods water elemental, and now, take a little step here. Alright, he's smart. I take a little step here, take a little step here, and what I'm doing is I'm luring his dumb ass into coming next to me, and now I just eat him. Check it out, he immediately took down my D-missile, but that's okay, I'm just going to kill him. But I'll put D-missile back up. By the way, they will shoot, they're not like centaurs, they will shoot their, as you can see, they will shoot their arrows when they're right next to you, they do not care. I'm risking going to the Abyss, by the way, because I'm taking away my MR from the hat by turning into a dragon, but this character can survive the Abyss, so I don't care. It's like a little vacation for me. Spire and Forest. And not Fulminant Prism, because that'll hit my Spire. Ooh, he just cut down my D-missile. We're going to recast it. I'd like to be right next to this dude. Let's put a Spire here. Let's put up another Forest. I don't have Arlec, but I do have D-missile, so it's okay. Let's go next to him. Now, he could have LCS'd me there. Always think about the worst case scenario. He actually just, check this out, he iron shotted my Lightning Spire for a lot of damage. But that's what the Spire is for, it blocks the attack. Crystal Spear is the worst case scenario here now. As I walked towards him, he could have done 100 damage to me, but I wouldn't have just been sitting there like, oh no, I'm dead now. I would scattershot him and he'd die. I have the ability to get out of the worst case scenario, so I just keep going. Generally, if I'm only using resources, if the absolute worst unlikely thing happens, I'm going to stay inside the fight. But if you're playing well and truly the most carefully you can, you really want to be resetting fights as often as possible and just cutting down dudes here and there. Alright, so he hasn't noticed me, and that's important. As long as you step out of line of sight while they still haven't noticed you, if I were to shout right now, okay, and walk here, he is not going to cast his spell as he approaches, okay? But now he has seen me. So if I were to take a step up to the left, even though he couldn't, see I put an exclusion here, he can't see me, it's not red. Hey Warlord Raw, thanks for the follow. Doesn't matter. If I were to take a step away, he would start turning walls into elementals because he's seen me. So instead, we walk up and we beat him up. This one's seen me as well. I don't want to be this close to the vault, but I'm going to go anyway just to take him out. This guy, we'll just rest and wait for him. Take a step away, take a step like this. Look at that. Nice melee. Ring of Pro Magic. Huh. That's pretty useful, potentially. Here's Shout X6. Uh-oh. That's more stuff in the vault left than I thought. Got him. Refresh my dragon form. Check it out. There was a Lost Soul on the table. And so now he's a ghostly deep elf death mage from me killing him. Alright, Warlord. Well, I do stream pretty regularly when I am in the habit of streaming. I do it almost every day, so definitely feel free to look forward to some more. We're doing the we're extending the world record win streak right now. And I'm also doing a bit of a tutorial on how to play advanced casters. I just deflected an LCS. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. What is going on? I must have hit the... Yeah, I don't think we're going to be printing this today. Yeah. What I was trying to do was... What the fuck? Can I... Oh, I see the problem. when I have the chat maximized, it fails. I was doing Control P. And I wanted to Control P to get to this message log, but when the chat's maximized, it's just thinks it's in the regular browser, basically, not... But yeah, I mean, that's why you get demissile here, if you can. It's really nice. Did I deflect an LCS a minute ago? Yeah, no, it just missed. That's not a deflect, that was just a miss. But yeah, I mean, even the max damage LCS cannot kill me. And I've carefully set this up in that way. And if I take a max damage LCS, we have a way out. It's like chess, you want to be one step ahead. Here's Shout X4. Sadly, these things are kind of behind a wall, so they may not follow me. Oh, here we go. Okay, so the Master Archers attack quickly, they do not walk quickly. So I can safely just stroll away. Unfortunately, I can't make good use of my kill hole because there was an elemental behind him. Or an elementalist. So I'm shouting a bit. I was hoping I could find them, but that's not happening for me. Okay, here's our boy. He hasn't seen me. By the way, if they've seen you, but then they lose sight of you, basically, and stealth kicks in, he still will not cast his stuff unless he sees me for sure again. Now he knows I'm here, he'll start casting. I just kill him, though. Pretty good stuff. Still basically just training unarmed combat. I mean, I could probably train some fighting at this point, take that to like 20 as well. Yeah, that'll be good. Am I really using Cause Fear or Fulminate Prism? I'm not really using either. Not that much. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of Cause Fear. As good as it is, we have like 5 Scrolls of Fear. It shouldn't be really important. Fighting is not just hit points. It also increases your chance. I think it increases... well, I know it increases damage, but less so. Like, it's like 75% compared to the 100% that that skill in a weapon would give you. And I think it also, yeah, it's sort of like a slang bonus. I believe it gives accuracy as well in the same sort of way. So yeah, fighting's really good. Fighting's really, really good. It's especially nice when you're using unarmed combat because of the nature of how unarmed combat training works as compared to regular weapons. Anyway, the reason I'm not memorizing, or I'm unmemorizing Cause Fear is because I'm now going to use Transfer Knowledge. I've taken away all my poison magic with Ashenzari's Transfer Knowledge. Let's take away all of our hexes now. Source skill is hexes, and we'll transfer into fighting. I don't need no hexes anymore. We're good to go there. I may even get rid of my conjurations at some point. Just be a pure transmuter. This is probably the first game I've played in a very long time that I've made use of Transfer Knowledge. Like I said, it usually means you made a mistake, but then again, sometimes you want a skill, and you don't want it later on. So, you know, usually you don't have the luxury of changing that around, but he gives you that. Alright, Deep Elf Annihilator has the Spriggan's Knife. That's okay, we'll just kill him. Nice dagger indeed. I don't think we're going to use it as much as I'd like to have the EV. Merges into me when I'm in dragon form. Anyway, hey, Scroll of Acquirement. Alright, you guys ready to see the one the one change to DCSS that I actually like in this version. Let's use the scroll of requirement. We have a list of things. We have a list of things. Instead of picking a type of thing and then finding out later what it is. Book of Geomancy could be fun. That's rapid decon. That could be pretty handy on this character. Would have been way nicer to have before now, you know, because rapid decon is amazing in Elf. Yeah, maybe the ring. That's a possibility. The ring would be all right. Because of the fact that our MR is wrapped up in the hat, it would be nice to have a good ring. Plus, that's extra damage. It's not the best ring. Like, obviously, if you have like an artifact ring with MR on it, you want it to have multiple points of MR. But like, I can't complain about it. It's a good ring, you know. Oh, let's see. Examine Book of Geomancy. Do I really want rapid decon? Kind of. We'll go for the ring. Hey, Tonehack, 13 user, 13 viewer host. All right, I'll take that. What's up, man? Thank you for the host. 3 rations though, proper investment for Pan. Yeah. All right, let's just get the ring, and it actually comes cursed. That's because I'm worshiping Ashenzari, who is the god of curses. For all of the people coming from Tone's Twitch, hello. Welcome, this is DCSS, a roguelike. Raid boss, baby. Yeah. Let's drop this Ring of Pro Magic, which we weren't even wearing, to be honest. I was planning on fooling around with my items after I finish Elf. It's kind of a big decision on an Ashenzari character because, well, all this crap is cursed, right? And I only have so many curse scrolls to go around, and I've got to use a curse scroll, or excuse me, a remove curse scroll to uncurse, and then choose all the things I want to uncurse, and then I have to use more remove curse scrolls to recurse them so that I keep my Ashenzari benefits. So, I mean, essentially, it turns remove curse scrolls into a very limited resource, especially on this character, who is an Octopode and therefore has more slots and generally wants to move the slots around more often because, well, they're rings. So, something to keep in mind. So let's finish this floor and then we'll make those hard decisions, yeah? Still 100% worth not having to deal with explore traps. Let's shout. So I moved like this because, 1, I got to kill the Death Mage, 2, I was not getting shot by the archer the whole time I was doing this. We'll just keep shouting. Ashenzari tells me that there's a dude coming. I don't care what he is, I just want him to come next to me. Cool. Again, I see another dude coming, so I just wait here. This is really a great position. It's like a kill hole, only I didn't spend any digging for it. We'll go in now that we've cleared out most of the vault by shouting and killing them as they approached. Okay, I shout, I get his attention. I move, I shout, I shout, I shout. Now he was smart enough to go here. We'll summon a forest. And the reason I didn't go forward is because I don't know what this dude is. And if I wasn't worshipping Ashenzari, I could safely assume that somebody might be following him anyway. And basically, if I had stepped forward and he had been another Annihilator, I could have gotten the old wacky double LCS combo, which would not have been a fun time for me. So, I could scry right now to find out what he is, but hey, it is another Annihilator. What's up, buddy? Alrighty, that's a Ring of Wizardry, we don't need that. Interesting weapons, nothing I care about. Sack of Spiders, I like that. Book of Maledictions, I don't care. Nothing too helpful, unfortunately. But maybe in this other loot pile. Oh, nope. I keep seeing books and I'm like, is it going to be stat form? Am I going to get my stat form? Nope. Nope. That's okay though. Ripped off a bit. Didn't really get anything in here that I care about. Too much. We did, we did get this ring. We did get this ring with our elect. Unfortunately, That ring has RC minus on it, which is a little bit of a problem. Just a tad. No stat form. Yeah, we can live without stat form. I use it a lot, but it's by no means a crutch that I require to win the game. It's just really helpful on a character like this, especially. I really would have liked to have had it to go into Spider because we created that really nasty sort of trap for ourselves there. The Kite Shield of Sin. +7 strength. That's only +1 though. And we lose the shield when we're in dragon form anyway, so we're not going to use that. Alrighty, go back to Lair. What a disappointment this elf was. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you get a bunch of loot that does very little for you. We got something. We got a sack of spiders. That's helpful, I guess, but you know. Oh, there's a scroll of requirements sitting on the ground in Spider. We are going to make this work, though. Hold up. So let's take stock of what we've got. We do have an Invis potion. We will be using that. We're going to first do that remove curse shenanigan. So we got to plan this out. I think, if I look at my spells, I think that even without the 2 wizardries, I'll be able to cast all my stuff. Maybe not demissile. So we'll probably uncurse both of the wizardries. So let's go ahead and use remove curse. And under Ashenzari, you get to pick what gets uncursed, not just all of it. So we uncurse the wizardry, we uncurse the other wizardry. Yeah, wizardry stacks up to 3 times. Might need to do slime, in GMAT says. That's true. I'd like to avoid that, but maybe. We could uncurse the Ring of Protection from Fire, potentially. But I don't think so. Because when I'm out of stat form, or when I'm out of dragon form, I still want to have RF. Although, if we were to go into slime, we definitely wouldn't need it. So that's interesting. That's an interesting choice. Yeah, this character could do slime right now, couldn't he? Alrighty. Let's get rid of the +1 Ring of Protection. That's just sad. Let's get rid of the Ring of Fire. We still have 5 remove curses, so all the things I'm uncursing, I could recurse later if need be. Even though it'll run me out of rings, it's okay. Take away the Ring of Fire. Alright, that's it. You are not bound in jewelry, so suddenly my castability is terrible, but that'll get fixed a little bit once I recurse some of this stuff. First of all, I'm going to wear the Cursed Ring of MR. Wearing all the rings you can. First of all, let's take off the wizardry. We take off 1 wizardry. And because we got rebound in jewelry, it doesn't really affect us that much. Let's take off the other wizardry. That's kind of obnoxious. Demissile is now 26% fail rate, but it's not too bad. We'll train a little more spell casting, and then, well, hold on, let me finish this process so I can see what Ashenzari is doing for me. Freeing up the 2 wizardry slots is really good. That gives me a lot more room to work with here. Don't need Aralek for slime. We are going to do slime, by the way. It's a slightly odd order, but because I have RC, because I have enough MR, because I have our core even, I know that I can survive slime. If I look at... Let me go to dragon form. If I look at golden eyes in dragon form, I'm actually, yeah, as Ashenzari, I'm actually immune to the confusion gaze. If I look at great orb of eyes, it's a pretty low chance. And if I leave dragon form, I literally cannot be paralyzed because my MR is just too high with the hat. But we could even put on another MR and just not curse it. Profire is going to go off. We will wear Pro Cold instead. Okay, that gives us RC plus, even if we're in dragon form. RC plus plus if we're not. If I go dragon form and I look at Great Orb, I am now immune to paralyze. This is good. This is good. We can do slime. This is excellent. The only question is... Oh, I could also take off... I could actually... Let's look at rings. Is there anything else I might want to buy? I guess we could wear this Ring of the Octopus King. That'd be okay. I don't need positive energy, is the thing. Well, Death Ooze isn't going to do anything. I don't think... Does positive energy even help you against Death Ooze? I don't think it makes you resist rotting. They don't drain you, is the thing. Okay, drop the Ring of Protection. Because the Ring of the Octopus King will give me a point of AC anyway. Alright, so we don't need positive energy. We don't need Pro Fire. Full up on rings. If I cursed some more stuff, I could probably get some more skill bonus, but that's okay. We're okay for now. I need to transfer knowledge again. Hexes goes into fighting. Wait a minute. How do I tell if that's still turned on or not? Is there no way? Is there no way to tell if the transfer knowledge is still turned on? Maybe if I press A and C, it'll... Okay, it'll tell me I'm currently transferring. Alright. Good to know. Alright, so... Because of those two wizardries going off, I do want to just, like, buff up my spells a little bit. Take transmutations to 17. Take translocations to 6. Take charms to 10. We'll take air to 10. That should do it for me. That'll make things a little less ugly in terms of the cast ability. But otherwise, I feel real good. I feel real good about going to slime. So we've prepared our C, MR, and our core. Those are the things you want for slime. We immediately get faced down with some ugly stuff, like this great orb, but I prepared, so I can't be paralyzed. Biggest thing, of course, is this acid blob, but I've got D-missile, so he's not very likely to hit me at range, and I have to have our core, so he can't do that much damage to me anyway. More afraid of this shining eye, but luckily there's stuff between me and him, so we're just going to make summons and order them to attack, so he dies. Hey man. Hey, I'm sorry, but it's that you gotta blame Nebuchadnezzar. He's going for both of our records. I gotta stay ahead of him. Hold on, let me. Also, you can blame Ultraviolet 4, who is such an unfortunate prick that he took my Null Wizard guide off of his site because he was butthurt at me about something. Oh, I know you're not. I know you don't actually mind. But yeah, that's why I decided to start making more guides and putting them on dungeoncrawlstonesoup.com, because, like, I didn't want people to just not be able to find the guide. You know, he's basically screwing over the community. He gave me this sort of mealy-mouthed explanation afterwards, like, oh, well, my site's not the community. Like, okay, dude, everybody goes there if they want to see guides to DCSS, but alright. Anyway, that's part of why I'm making these guides, so it's like I want something like this to be available to the community, and also in the hands of someone who's not gonna get butthurt. Yeah, well, this is gonna be an advanced guide to casters. The last game I did, which increased the streak past, by the way, Man he's got another very excellent streak, filled with difficult combos, which he did, I think, 24 of these during a tournament, which was quite difficult, I'm sure, doing it under that time pressure. He's got 51 wins, and we had a sort of gentleman's agreement not to go past 51 because both of us were kind of tired of DCSS, I think. But then that happened with the guides, and so I decided, like, if I'm gonna play guide games that are 15 runes and kind of explain everything about the game, I might as well increase the streak at the same time. So I did a Mibby as my last game, taking me to 52, and that was like the easy beginner's guide, and now I'm doing an advanced game where I'm trying to explain more than I usually do while I'm playing, and hopefully it gives people, it's going to be connected to a written guide on how to play a caster, in this case, Octopode Conjurer. Do a Gargoyle Earth Elemental, so we have something to link to if they get tricked by Mojang's guide. Yeah, Mojang's guide never dies, it's crazy. It's this guy who made these guides that are just totally insane. they talk about how like DCSS is unwinnable unless you get incredibly lucky, which is just not the case. I mean, it's funny stuff, but yeah, I may do a Gargoyle Earth Elementalist next. It's actually been asked for. So anyway, we are surrounded by stuff. The big things in slime we want to be worried about. One is getting mutated by Shining Eyes, like this purple dude here. We're fine for now because there's stuff in between me and him. Another is taking big damage at range from these acid blobs who, if I didn't have our core, could do up to 41 damage to me with their attack. Times 2 if they're fast enough, which they are fast, so they might hit twice. So 82 damage per turn, quite a lot. We're taking much less because, well, it's very likely to miss because of our D-missile, and on top of that we have resist corrosion. Then there's these Azure Jellies, which just hit for... I think if you don't have RC, they can technically do like 200 damage to you in a turn. They're fast, and then on top of that they have like 4 attacks, and then each of those attacks can do cold damage. It's a whole disaster. So you never want to be in here without RC. It's really dangerous. I mean, you can break that rule, kind of, but Zhang's Guide are well written and professional looking, other than the fact that they're almost entirely wrong. Yeah, that's the thing, is they're very tricky like that. He was not a bad writer. You know, it's one of those things, what's the word, specious, where it's like believable, but completely wrong, you know? So it's like, if only he was better at the game, you know? Maybe they were written as satire. Anyway, let's think about what we want to do in this situation. We don't want to create the same bullshit sort of staircase surrounded situation that we did in Spider earlier. So we need to make sure we can win this fight. I'm willing to use some resources to do that. Why don't we go ahead and put a File of Floods here. The idea being to slow this dude down, like he'll be busy fighting this, and that'll give me time to take out the real threat, which is this acid blob. So I just attack him again, he's dead. Not that I can't take damage from these slime creatures, it's just going to be less. They do like 22 a pop, 44 for this big one. And that's maximum. I wish I had not dropped my Enslave. That would have been useful here. We could simply petrify or paralyze them. We're going to paralyze this guy and fail. Paralyze this guy and succeed. This is a little bit of a problem. I'm glad the Shining Eye's dead. Notice we didn't give him a chance to mutate us. That's really what you want to do every single game, is make sure that the Shining Eye never has a turn to screw you over. Alright, this Eye of Devastation could actually do good damage, so we're going to kill him. They bolt you for... I mean, granted, my D-Missile would probably block it, but if it got through, it would do a good bit of damage. Okay, let's swing. Alright, let's go up. We're going to pull all this stuff away. Remember that these slime creatures are only speed 10, so I can walk away from them. However, the Azure Jelly's fast, so we need to kill him now. By the way, Azure Jellies are susceptible to fire, so let's just finish him off with a nice little bolt. So now I'm safe. Like, no matter what happens, I can just walk away from these dudes if I felt like it. Boom, boom, boom. But I don't have to. I just killed them. Okay, we'll rest. Eat a ration. Rest up. Go Dragon Form before going down, because I want more hit points, because if I look at this... By the way, I'm doing this by holding Shift, pressing X to go into map mode, and then I'm pressing the right bracket so I can look at the floor. This can be really useful to get an idea of what's waiting for you down here. There could be way more shit here than I'm really comfortable with dealing with, so having 200 some hit points is nice. I also have a scroll of blinking if things get really bad. Oh god. Alrighty, so it's not the worst case scenario. It's not like damage that's waiting for me, it's just the horrible chance of getting malmutated. Really bad. There's actually no way for me to 100% avoid getting malmutated here. Hasn't happened yet, but it very well might. I could scattershot here. Yeah, and Matt, you've learned something today, my friend. I could scattershot here, but they do have a point of AC, so it's not exactly guaranteed to kill it. If I had more evocations, perhaps it would be virtually guaranteed, but I mean, it's pretty likely. With that said, it would only kill this Shining Eye, not that one. Now... I could blink, I guess. I mean, I could controlled blink. That would guarantee me not to get mutated, but you know I don't want to waste my only blink, right? I could cast blink, but that's random. That could send me anywhere. And I really kind of want to stay on this staircase in case things get really hairy. I could attack him, and if I kill him, and attacking is going to be pretty quick because of my high unarmed combat, if that kills him in one shot, I could put a spire where he's currently standing, and that would mean that this Shining Eye could not get me. Okay, so we attack, and unfortunately it doesn't do a goddamn thing. Well, it doesn't do much. I'm just going to swing. Swing. Okay, we got lucky. Now, each of those attacks was 0.7 speed. So, we just did it really quickly, and they didn't choose to mutate me. Okay, we're going to go up. I'm going to kill all this stuff. That's the risk I take, unfortunately, going and doing stair dancing, you know. Dragon form again, go down. You really probably want to kill the acid blobs first in most situations, because if they start to corrode you, things can go bad very fast. Okay, he hit me with the acid splash. My D-missile blocked it and then went away, so we recast, we fail, we recast, we succeed. And we just attack him. That was close. And I should probably explain why it's close. So you're probably thinking, well, mutated, that doesn't do damage, what's the problem? The issue is that there are some mutations in the game that virtually ruin your game. And if you happen to land on them, you're going to have a much less fun game, possibly a much less winnable game. It's still winnable generally, it's just like horrible things can happen, and it can create this horrible farming situation where you've got to go basically farm the Abyss for mutation potions, because God knows you don't want to have teleportitis when you're in Zot, where you could be just like teleported next to, well, NGMat says 7 orbs of fire. You know? We happen to have like 6 potions of mutation, but even so, that doesn't mean I want to run the risk, you know, of getting mutated, because that mutation potions may not even take off what I want them to. Just gonna fight this stuff. That's a lot of blobs of acid. Ooh, those flashes were things emerging. Just fight this stuff. Notice how I actually left this guy alive and attacked the guy down here instead. I want to keep enemies between me and the blobs. That means they will not shoot me. I actually messed up there. I shouldn't have killed that one. Just got done talking about it, and this is a little risky being next to this much damage. Technically, I could have died there if everything had hit and rolled max, but that's okay. We survived. Oh, hello, friend. Put a spire here. It's between me and him. Now, it'll take damage every turn from these walls, but that's fine. Let's make trees. I can't be mutated like this. Good. Dragon form again, go down. Damn, there are 3 more acid blobs. That is a lot. We'll, I'd like to pull one of these up. So we'll start killing this stuff. Okay, now we'll go up. We'll kill him first, 1 shot. Dragon form's really strong. Okay. Now again, we want to pull up one of the biggest threats. Azure Jelly's a threat down there, but Acid Blob's closer. We pull him up. We kind of fought until he was next to our character, and then we went right up. Go down again. Go back up. D-missile dropped, so we'll put that back up. Back in dragon form, come down. Now, here's the bad luck. We did in fact get mutated. It was a good mutation. We got very lucky, and got one that was, I mean, this would be obnoxious if we were a different character that could use a helmet, because Beak, I think the first level takes off your helmet, but we don't really care because we're wearing a hat anyway. With that said, I want to stop him from doing more of that garbage, so we put a spire up. Again, spire's amazing, really outrageously strong, because I get to choose where it goes, and we can just sort of cast a forest and chill out, you know? I don't need to be the one who kills that eye. I'll let my allies do it. We have a beak for a mouth. Okay, that's actually an extra attack. It gets turned off. You can see it's in the gray. If I'm holding shift and pressing A to get here. And it's grayed out. Like, this stuff is just normal octopode things. And this is the new mutation that anybody could get. It's turned off because I'm in dragon form. What's up with the line of slimes? Hey, Con Badger, this is just a vault that spawns a line of slimes. It's silly. Whoa, I'm moving too quickly. Holy shit. Oh, Shining Eyes are also slow, by the way. So if you walk away from them when they're at the edge of the line of sight, you're probably not going to get mutated. Let's order this to attack the eye. I'm safe, as long as that Dryad doesn't move. Shining Eye dies, good. Alright, you will get memed on by slime sometimes. You will get a floor that is either completely or partially disconnected. I don't want to walk on these green walls because it'll damage me, although I could for a couple tiles. I think what I'm going to do... I have our core, so it does less damage to me. I'm still going to dig this out, and I'm going to dig it like that so I can get as many tiles as possible and actually cut a path, because the way that the slime walls work is it's all the tiles that are around it, each column. So because of the way I did that, I cleared a path, so now auto-explore will actually work. And auto-travel. It's more a matter of convenience than tactics there. Just fight this stuff. Whoa, hey buddy. You're getting paralyzed. Wait for the Petrify to kick in. Kill that. Kill that. Believe it or not, slime creatures can be very dangerous, especially for me in dragon form, because dragon form is extremely fragile. So that damage is it's no joke, man. This is okay. We'll just fight this stuff. Because I was able to petrify so much, I'm not too worried. Yeah, this is alright. It was a little bit reckless to fight all that stuff instead of taking it up, but sometimes, you know, the reality is that if you can stay on a staircase and take a fight, and it feels relatively safe, usually that's the right move. Because many times you have seen me come down already, just in this game, you've seen me come down and there's douchebags waiting for me that I didn't expect, like Shining Eyes, you know? So if I stay on the staircase, I can't be surprised by more stuff coming. I see it coming from the edge of line of sight. So I'm going to probably take some small risks and maybe have to use a resource to survive if it goes really badly. Alright, check this out. If I didn't have D-Missile, this would be even more necessary, but I'm going to do it as a part of best practice. I'm going to put the Spire here. I'm going to stand here. And basically what that did was, if he shoots me, he hits the Spire. So I could just wait. You know, this is a cool little tactic. And I could just keep re-upping that, you know, if I wanted to. And he'll kill it a lot, but it'll soften him up a bit, you know. I don't need to do that, though. I can just attack him. This character's really strong. But I could, you know, usually it'll last a turn or two, so that would give me time to do other summons, like summon Forest, or maybe I could, like, if I was, let's say, an air elementalist, you know, by the way, summon Lightning Spire is part air, I could, like, air strike the dude from behind. I mean, anything that can allow you to inconvenience that slime, that acid blob, while he really can't do much to you is quite good. Let's fully explore Slime 4. Now, you want to dive Slime, typically, but there's 5 floors, and that means that for the 4th floor, there's no loot in here, by the way, except in the bottom floor. Typically on the 4th floor, I do want to explore it, even though there's no loot, because I want to get access to different staircases down in case I need to do some stair dancing. Unfortunately, we've been bamboozled by the layout. Technically, I could use some digging. I have 7 charges. Sadly, the nature of this means that I would have to probably burn like minimum 3, maybe 6 charges to make this thing work, so that I can clear an actual path that's not going to murder me as I walk through it. Let's go Dragon Form and let's see if we can make this work without doing all that. Strength. Yeah, memed on. Put D-Missile back up. This is a Death Ooze. They can rot you, but otherwise they're kind of a joke. Dies instantly. D-Missile. It's a bit risky. Check it out. I'm going to leave this slime creature alive I'm going to attack the one up and to the left instead, and I was hoping what that would mean was that the blob would try to walk around and the jelly would walk right to me, but instead they switched places, so I kind of memed myself there. Let's pull this up. I have corrosion -8. That's -8 slay, by the way, on top of -8 AC. Adds up real quick when that acid starts to hit. That's the real danger. You can cancel that off, by the way, if need be. So keep that in mind. Where's TRJ? There he is. There's TRJ. This is a boss fight, so to speak. Really, it's kind of like Lernaean. You know, you may need some special tactics. This is the most special tactics sort of fight in the entire game. So, basically, we don't want to fight him just yet. We want to clear the floor. This floor is very ugly. It's got a lot of... I mean, we've seen how dangerous some of these enemies are. I'm probably making it look somewhat easy, but trust me, if you make even a minor mistake, bad things result. Damn it, that's TRJ. So if he takes damage... No nets? Oh, we have nets. But I just don't want to fight him with all the stuff around. If he takes damage, he spits out high-level jellies. See, look, he just pooped out. He just pooped out death oozes. Because of my dumbass spire zapping when I didn't want it to. Let's go up. Now, I've done something that is actually rather bad, which is now I've gone up to a section of the floor that I haven't explored, so if there had been a lot of really nasty, ugly, strong things here, I might have been in trouble. I could have gotten out of it possibly with resource use or other things, but it was overall not good. This is why I really wanted to have access to multiple staircases, so I could fully explore this and be really safe about it. Anyway, that's cool. Let's just do it. Let's burn the digging. I hate to use my resources like this, but dig, dig, dig. And then I will use one digging, and I think I'll just eat the damage from walking through this. There we go. So we have access to 2 staircases now. That's good. That means that I can run around. And honestly, I could have Passage of Galubria there, and went to the other staircase from Slime 5. I could have passaged, but I didn't. I wanted to give my Spire as little time to do damage to TRJ as possible. Okay, Titanic Slime Creature, just a casual 110 damage. We petrify him. Oh, God. Alright, goodbye, 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 fellas. I have D-Missile still, this is relatively safe. 66 plus 22 is 88. This is kind of annoying. I can yakety sax things now. Yeah, kind of. I should have Passage of Galubria right here, actually. I'm gonna fear this stuff away. Then I'm gonna forest. Then we're actually, as much as I don't want to, we're gonna fight this and we're gonna freaking fail, apparently. Holy shit. Alright, alright. This is what I'm talking about, where if things go badly, they can go badly very quickly. We're going to Ice Blast to kill this guy, virtually guaranteed. This is not good. Could file this guy away from me, but it's not guaranteed to work. God damn. I made a mistake. Let's think about this. We could not net him because we are in dragon form. Man, I sure wish Agi still existed. Scattershot? Yeah, no, I know. I'm trying to avoid using my best resources. I could, in fact, Scattershot Death using and probably kill him instantly. like, this is not like a, oh my god, I'm gonna die situation. This is an I'm trying not to use too many resources situation. Scattershot probably is what I'm gonna end up doing. I'm just trying to see if there's anything I can do to make this less ugly without burning such a nice resource. I mean, I'd be running the risk of File of Floods not working. Technically, the Death Ooze could kill me if Scattershot doesn't work. That's the other problem. I may very well want to blink. The thing is, with if I do File, I almost like File better than Scattershot because it'll put him in water, which will I think oozes still suffer from the mischance from being in water, so that would be helpful. Or I could just blink, which technically could kill me if I were to blink right next to this slime creature. Wait a minute. Okay, I was going to say I can't die because of Spirit Shield, but we don't have Spirit Shield because of the helmet. The hat is the hat is melded right now. We'll Scattershot him. Bro, our D-Missile is not doing the work. That's amazing. Technically, we could have died there too if he had gotten two hits, you know? Minus 12 corrosion means that we're very likely to take damage if it does hit us, but a D-Missile should still be blocking some of these. Oh man, this sucks. We gotta use the Scroll of Blinking. Technically. Well, we do still have our core. I could just put like a spire between me and him. Oh yeah, it's bad to get impatient on slime. This is essentially why I'm in this bad situation that I'm in. I'm gonna use Fear. That'll get these slime creatures, or the green ones, away, and it may very well work on the acid. Didn't work on the acid. God damn, dude, he's just hitting me. It's incredible. You gotta assume he's gonna hit you though, even through D-Missile. Alright, now let's pop a Heal Wounds. Deflect actually works this time. This is looking better. This is better. Now we'll File a Flood Sim, knocking him back, possibly putting something between me and him. That didn't happen, but that's okay. We'll start taking steps. He just doesn't give a shit. I think if I take one step further, no, he'll still be able to hit me. Okay, worst case scenario, we go down, we get hit again. I don't think we can die. No, we could if he hit twice. Our core should cut that damage. This is a good time to check, actually. How much? I think it's 50%. Halves damage. Yep. So we take half damage from it. So technically, if he hit twice for max damage, we would still die. Very unlikely. I'm going to take a step. That's good. We're going to go up. Okay, that was horribly risky. What did I do wrong there? The problem is that I was taking... Basically, I took fights that I shouldn't have taken. And I ended up in what was honestly a very dangerous situation. That I didn't need to be in. I have passage, right? What I should be doing is anytime I'm even remotely concerned, if I'm not near a staircase, what we do is we just pog away. By the way, I could pog through here if I wanted to. And like that staircase looks like crap now, so no problem. We just go Dragon Form onto this other staircase and fight stuff here instead. And this is the basic idea. Is we kill things piecemeal, you know? Oh look, TRJ is next to me. How unlucky. That will happen sometimes. You go down a staircase, you fight some stuff, TRJ is nowhere nearby, you come back down and he's just right next to you. We can go up safely though. This is where I really wish I had staff form and not dragon form. Just because I'm taking more damage than I'd like from simple things like slime creatures, but that's okay. Okay, go back down. Guess I could put a spire here. Pull this guy up. Remember, fight the difficult threats one at a time. There's very rarely a good reason why you should have to fight more than one of these things, or maybe two at the same time. Like what was happening before with me, you know, coming relatively, you know, closer than I would like to the death zone, was just pure hubris. Putting spires up. We're trying to get one of these guys next to us. They don't seem to want to come, so we will just go to the other staircase. Takes time. Takes time, but time is better than dying. Shout some more. Put up a spire. Oh, my D-missile dropped. Put that back up. Part of why my D-missile is sucking, by the way, is that my spell power on it could be a bit better. Whoops, out of dragon form. Spell power certainly does affect your chance to evade blows with D-missile. Almost want to train. Spell power doesn't affect that. Is that true? Am I lying to people? Let's find out. Random amount between 0 and 66% for beams, blah, 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 blah. Wow, is that really... Have I had that wrong all this time? It's the low EV from dragon form. Well, yeah, that's certainly not helping, for sure. Huh. That's bizarre. Okay, I guess spell power only affects the chance of it getting turned off when it evades something. That's interesting. I could have sworn that having more spell power gave you more of a chance to evade with it. Okay. I stand corrected. It is falling off pretty often, though. One thing I probably should be doing is casting it while I'm in octopode form, because I do have +4 int from this dagger, which will increase the spell power a bit. Okay, there's our royal jelly. Let's just walk away. He hasn't noticed me. My stealth is pretty good. Let's see. So, you don't necessarily have to clear the whole floor to be able to kill TRJ. It's just good. And the minimum, at least, is to make sure this little shrine area in the middle is clear. Okay, we'll order our allies to attack the Shining Eye. Notice I'm making sure my boys are between me and the eye. Or enemies. Or enemies are between me and the eye. Either's fine. As long as it's not me getting mutated, then it's good. Okay, so yeah, with this little shrine area clear, I can kind of go hunt for TRJ. Just walking around the level. There he is. It's not quite the positioning I want to be in. We don't want to fight him out in the open. I'm going to show you guys the most straightforward way to kill TRJ. And it's going to be complicated a little bit by the fact that I'm in dragon form, so my defenses are going to be terrible, and using nets is going to be a little bit awkward. With that said, I think we'll be fine. Could use the potion of stab. Actually, you know what? Why not? Let's demonstrate. Let's use some potion of stabbing, the new terrible potion that I really hate. I think that even without daggers, it'll upgrade your stabs. We'll find out. we'll make that discovery together. It's not like I was planning on using those potions anyway, so. Okay, I'm just kind of looking around. One thing you can do is sort of shout from these edges. You need to fight him not in the open if you're doing this melee plan that I'm about to show you. And instead, you fight him at a very particular spot in this shrine area. By the way, when you kill him, these stone walls, the clear ones, will drop, and then you can get to the loot piles. Alright, so Ashenzari is being a babe, letting us know that he's right here, so we can go ahead and start preparing. You would want a resistance potion if you didn't have our C+ in our core, but I do. So instead I'm just going to haste, which the game has been very stingy about, only 2 hastes today. I will might. I will agi. Just kidding, agi doesn't exist anymore. We'll use this stupid ass potion of stabbing and see how it works. See if it works without using a dagger. Anyway, alrighty. We will. Just realized we don't have a scroll of summoning. What a shame. This is going to be a little more awkward than it usually is. Perhaps a lot more awkward. Anyway, so I'm mighted, I'm hasted, I have the resistances that I need, and I have pretty much every buff that I would ever want. So we make sure he sees me. We're going to shout. I'm not going into dragon form yet. Okay, wait for him. Step like this. I'm going to throw a net on him. Alright. And then I'm going to step like this. I do have spiders, right. The thing is that spiders, I will be using spiders, but it's not my favorite thing. So the idea here is every time you hit him, he spits out guys, right? So we want allies. Scroll summoning is probably best. Phantomir is really good because it makes you a royal jelly that will beat the hell out of him. And even if he's netted, your guy will not start out netted or anything, so he'll just start beating him up for you with big damage. Sack of spiders, if you've got some evokes, it'll work. The idea is basically to make bodies. I don't like using sack because, like, they're little, you know? They will take tons of damage. With that said, it should work. So I could just like try to stab him with my dagger right now. But I think I'd rather be in dragon form, honestly. Now that unfortunately means I can't net him again. Usually I would net him again right now. Let's just attack him. I guess I'm not getting any stabs today. Okay, this is worse than it should be. But we're just going to melee him and take him down. That's transmutations, especially dragon form, makes this a little awkward. If I had stat form, I would have been able to keep netting him. The problem is he will run through his allies, you know, and he will get away like that. But we pretty much killed him fast enough that just didn't happen. Let's wand this stuff. We're still hasted and mighted, so we can slap this stuff around pretty easily. Let's put a spire here, just so I can't be totally surrounded by this crap. It's really sad that they took out Agi, because Agi's really nice here. Instead we have this dumb stabbing thing. Like, having extra evasion right now would be pretty great, as a dragon especially. And a lamp. Anytime I want to, I could just teleport out of this, or blink out of it. In fact, why don't we start the teleport right now, because this is starting to look a bit hairy. Oh my god. Yeah, the damage that we take here is outrageous. We'll drink curing. How much damage is possible here? That's a lot of damage possible here. We could blink. The telly should kick in, though. I don't want to burn my blink scroll. Why don't we just cast blink? There we go. That's good. That's better. We're still hasted. Telly should kick in here in a minute. Let's just make a spire. Let's, you know what, just for fun, why don't we immo? And then we can sort of kill this stuff at range with, well, tell you what, just because I don't want to take too many risks, we will set up a pog. Alright, yeah, I'm getting too cute here. Let's get the fuck out of here. Go to full hit points. They will go to full hit points too, but that's fine. Just showboating. There's no reason. If you find yourself showboating for no reason, then don't. So we'll just clear these guys the same way we cleared the rest of the floor. Basically. Which is piecemeal, you know, using staircases. If I wanted to, I could just go straight to the loot pile and take out whatever's guarding it. Probably be fine. This is one of the reasons I hate using Dragon Form at this stage of the game, because it's so fragile. This is not... You know, I mentioned before, I said Dragon Form has low defenses, but it's not bad, it's just a tool for particular jobs. Right now, I'm essentially using a screwdriver to pound in a nail. Like, you can do it! You can do it, it's a little awkward, but you can do it. Yeah, slimes are deceptively dangerous. Like, this is a great tool to kill these guys if you can get them one at a time. It's a horrendous tool for taking them if you can't. The Ring of Absolutism, that's what we've been looking for. 2 pips of MR on a ring, that's nice. Bolt of Magma, not that useful. Manual of Charms, we could probably make some use of that. You know, make it so my D-Missile doesn't drop so much in combat, which, by the way, I should recast. Take that to 15, I guess. Ring of Affliction, that would have been useful in here. Get some SH even in Dragon Form. In fact, I should probably pop that on instead of Magic Regen at this point. We really don't need Magic Regen. I literally used a screwdriver in that exact way. Yeah, I bet it worked. I bet it was not that fun of a time for you. I bet it was sort of annoying. But yeah, I mean, yeah, anybody who's done like housework or whatever has probably done that, something like that at some point, you know. It's just tool substitution, you know. Controlled Blink, we're probably not going to train enough Translokes for that to be valuable. Some nice Earth spells, but not the stat form that we want. Guardian Spirit could be handy, but I think I'm going to forego it. Ring of Protection, hello, that's alright. Vile Clutch, hell yeah. That's one of the big boys. We learned that immediately. We'll learn Necromancy up to at least 5. Alrighty, we can drop the Ring of the Octopus King, it's silly. Well, maybe not. I want to drop something. I'll just not take this Pro Cold with me, okay. Alright, let's get back to the lair and then let's look over our loot a bit. Okay, we have 7 remove curses. Yeah, it's alright. I could have, you know, the Vile Clutch is nice. I would have preferred to have stat form. We continue on our sad stat formless run, despite the fact that we're a caster who is going transmutations. But that's okay. We're making it work. Vile Clutch will let me do wacky bullshit where I constrict things and then I can hit them and kill them basically instantly in Dragon Form. It is the Bonnie to Dragon Form's Clyde. Like, we want to have both of them together if possible. It's amazing that Vile Clutch exists because it improves so many other things in the game if you happen to have it. Level 5 Necromancy Earth spell. Explodes like a fireball in a 3x3 radius. Or a 3x3, you know, area. It does damage over time. It constricts, killing their EV, like I said. It's just really incredible. Really stupidly strong, really, really overpowered. And so I make use of it almost every game that I play a caster if I find it. Talk about a no-brainer, you know. Isn't it a bolt now? Ah, yeah, we are playing in Trunks, so it is a bolt now. Yeah, it shoots a hilarious row of hands now. That is true. Still really, really strong for pretty much all the purposes that I stated. It's less powerful in a handful of situations now, but it's actually more powerful in some situations. So, you know, it's kind of funny. Less super op. I would say it's still super op personally. All right, so let's go to. We're gonna go to Spider. I kind of want to change my items around, so let's do this. Remove curse. Have a nice little stack going. I don't really need MR in Spider, and if I did, I could just go back into Octopus form. I'm going to get rid of this MR ring, because we have an MR++ ring now. I'm going to... I'll keep the Pro Cold. Well, will I keep the Pro Cold? I should have taken a closer look at my items. I screwed up. I think I'm wearing 2 rings of Pro Cold right now. I think that's how I have RC++. So I'll keep the Pro Cold. I'm going to get rid of the Magic Regen. We don't need that. And we'll get rid of the Pro Magic, just the basic Pro Magic. Just don't need quite so much. The Evasion we probably will keep. I think. Maybe. We eventually want that off, because that's not a very big bonus. Let's get it off. So that stuff's not cursed anymore. We're free to change things up. First of all, I want to look at amulets, just to be sure. Yeah, I want the +3 reflection. This way I have a little bit more in the way of defense while I'm a dragon, and it also is more defense while I'm not a dragon. It's quite good. Don't need to regen mana, it's fine. If something horrible happens, I can drink one of my 4 potions of magic to get a ton of magic back. No big deal. Could have G-Spirit while dragon. Yeah, I considered that, and that would be really strong. Not gonna lie, it would be quite nice. But I'm on the stat form train, and the other thing is I only have so many remove curses. Like if I were to get stat form, I would have G-Spirit while in stat form. That'd be great. I can't assume that's going to happen, but it's a combination of that and the fact that I only have so many remove curses. So like if I find stat form, I'm now in a situation where I really want to change my amulet out, and that's going to suck at least 2 remove curses out of me. So I'm trying to plan ahead due to the sort of problems of playing Ashenzari. I know under literally all situations I'm going to want this Amulet of Reflection. Unless I find a better Amulet of Reflection, in which case, oh no, oh no, I have a better Amulet of Reflection. But otherwise, I know there are situations where I'm going to want to take G-Spirit off, so that's why we're going for Reflection. I do agree that G-Spirit is a better overall effect at this very moment, but I'm not in the process of dying or anything right now. I'm just, the only reason I had slight problems in Slime is because I did some reckless stuff, so. Anyway, I really would like to have Arlek all the time if possible. In fact, I'm going to drop this stupid axe. The reason I'd like to have Arlek all the time, especially now, is because I'm going into Spider, and there are potentially Spark Wasps in there, which do an enormous amount of electric damage. So, take off the +2 Ring of Evasion. We'll wear that. Our RC goes to only RC+. Could find an epic Randart amulet. Yes, that could happen, but I gotta assume the worst. Like, in the worst case scenario, I don't find anything, and basically, I don't know, I think it's less likely for me to find a better amulet than it is for me to find stat form. Let me put it that way. Because Roxanne may show up, and she always has. She always has stat form. Alright, let's drop this Ring of MR. Let's drop this Ring of MR. You know, if I'm an octopus, actually, let's just look at liches. Liches can't touch me. Even if I'm a dragon where my hat's melded, liches can barely touch me. I feel good about this. So we don't need all that MR. Put on this Ring of Protection. Going into Spider, I don't really need RC. I don't really need RF. I don't really need positive energy. I really just want defenses, honestly, and Arlek, I guess. So we're going to do that. We're just not going to curse too many of these things. So let's curse the amulet. Let's curse the Ring of Protection +4, because that's a pretty high number. We're going to keep cursing until we can get our bonus back. Let's curse... Probably shouldn't have uncursed the +2 Ring of Evasion, I guess, but I know I'm going to get rid of that sooner or later. Let's curse the MR++ ring. Wow, we still don't have it. This is the horrible thing about being an Octopode under Ashenzari. You need 5 cursed pieces of jewelry. Let's curse... I don't need our Corrosion. We could swap that out too. God damn, what do I want to curse out of this stuff? I could curse the ring with Arlek. It's less likely for us to find Arlek than anything else, probably. I could recurse the +2 Ring of Evasion, but that feels really silly and dumb on my part. Could curse the Ring of the Octopus King. The +9 MP is not doing a whole lot for me, but the other stuff is. I think we'll curse the Arlek. Won't the Arlek make me RC minus in Dragon form? Not as long as I keep this Ring of Protection from cold on. And I am doing that even though Spider doesn't really have cold attacks. Because there could be like a unique that does cold damage. With that said, for the future, I probably will keep an extra Ring of RC+. Oh, wait. No, you're right. Hold on a minute. Right now I have RC+. No, it'll make me RC null. Where am I getting my other pip of RC from? I knew that I had 2 pips of RC, and then 1 pip of RC. Oh, I have 2. Yeah, I have 2 rings of Arc Hold on from Slime. That's why that's happening. So I'm already doing that. So that's fine. Yeah, we will curse the Arlek. It's just really important. It's important pretty much from this point forward. Really nice to have Arlek. Like if I run into a Titan, you know, in vaults, for instance, or Spark Wasp and Spider, or you know, Titans and Depths as well. It's just really nice to have Arlek. I don't like to not have it at this point in the game. Alrighty, let's take a look at our defenses. It's looking pretty good for Slime right now. I do have one more slot I can replace. I could replace Corrosion. Look up rings. What can we do? Oh! Hello! I forgot about this. There's a +3 Ring of Evasion. Let's get that. Let's make our defenses not completely and totally infantile. So see how I'm preparing? You know, this is like a whole process right now on account of the fact that I'm worshipping Ashenzari, but it's still something you should do even when you're not on Ashenzari. It's just a lot easier because you can swap whatever you want and not have to plan for how many remove curses you have. So, you know, it's like, where am I going? What kind of threats am I going to face? How can I prepare for those threats? You know? Okay, with that said, we're pretty well ready. We left a big stinky surprise down here, so what we're going to do... Drop these stupid potions of stabbing. Then we're going to use Invis. Then we're going to use Teleport. Then we're going to go down. Telly is still activating. Most of the things here cannot see me. Take a step. The teleport activates. Still pretty ugly with all this shit on the screen. We're gonna do a forest. Step this way. The goal is to get my back to a wall. We will dig. We will... Should I burn another dig? I only have 2. Let's see if we can pull this off just in a hallway, you know? And oh, check it out. Check it out. BVC's nerfed, is it? BVC's nerfed, is it? Oh, look, I can hit more dudes than I ever could before in a hallway. You know, so if you say so, BVC got an enormous buff for the purposes of kill holes. Yeah. Okay, so the enemies here, the Tarantella can confuse me when he attacks me, but he can't because I'm worshipping Ashenzari, which makes me immune. These jumping spiders can jump around behind me. They can web me when they attack me. I'm just going to BVC this nice long hallway. Oh no, BVC's nerfed, guys! The spell is insanely overpowered. Like, there was this great smug post that the head dev wrote, basically like insulting everyone who ever called the spell overpowered, and kind of trying to justify its existence and its current form. And I don't know, I should, if somebody wants to link the GitHub thing to so we can all have a nice hearty laugh at it, that'd be cool. But basically it was just it was the smuggest thing I've seen in my life. You know, just like this takedown of anybody who had ever bothered to say like, oh my god, BVC's broken as hell. You know, yeah, quote unquote nerfed. Honestly, you can run an overall somewhat weak character and then get BVC and you're fine. Yep. Yep, 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 yep. It's really, really, really powerful, and then if you're already a strong character, it becomes this sort of horrifyingly effective force multiplier, because, you know, take for example, this character, Amulet of Regen. That's better now that Regen has been taken out of the game, by the way. Normally I ignore the fact that Amulet of Regen exists, but it's not terrible now. I mean, it's still pretty bad, but... Anyway, this character is already strong. He's in dragon form. He's kicking ass, but you throw BVC on there, and it's like you're getting damage every turn. You're making it so you can virtually guaranteed hit things with your massive ass dragon attack. Really crazy stuff. Scroll of Acquirement, use. Okay, this is all dog shit, except for maybe Compendium of the Voyage and Black Rituals. That's racist. Sadly, no stat form in here. It's just necromancy and translocation, I guess. I don't really care about those spells at all. This is where the new acquirement kind of screws me, because I could have picked jewelry, you know, but there's no jewelry to be had here. Let me think about this. Corpse Rot would have been nice way earlier. None of this is really interesting to me. I'm just gonna take gold, I guess. Ah, thank you, man. There's your smug post. Should I do a dramatic reading of this smug post? It's really long if I remember correctly. Let me just open this window up and see how long it is. I may read it out loud. Oh my god, he's so wordy. This is such... Holy shit. I'm just going to read the best part. This is a nerf to a spell that was already sitting at a good power level. However, another aim of the 0.25 magic changes is to reduce the overall strength of the Necromancy School, given how many strong spells it has. BVC is routinely overrated, and not actually in the overpowered set. Alright, so we've got 3 statements already shitting on anybody who has said that it's overpowered. Already sitting at a good power level, BVC is routinely overrated, not actually in the overpowered set. We're not even a fifth of the way through the fucking post yet. So we don't want to make the spell bad just because of the perception. All right, 4 statements that anybody who disagrees with him on this is basically a moron. All right, and then he actually runs through every single reason. The reasons given for rating BVC so highly include synergy with allies, lowering monster evasion, damage per cast, smite targeting, and being in such a strong school. So he's missed a few things. He missed the fact that it's really mana economy heavy. You know, like 5 mana gets you so much of this stuff at the same time and over time. It's really good with turn economy as well. He didn't mention either of those things. So he misses a few of the arguments, so he's kind of building a bit of a straw man here. Allies are vastly stronger than BVC and capable of clearing entire floors quite on their own. See, this is a dumbass statement, and I'll tell you why. Yes, summons are strong by themselves, but it's a force multiplier for allies. You're getting your own damage on top of the ally damage, so you're getting less experience robbed from you as you Hey, Ninja Joe. We're talking shit about the developers of DCSS right now. Thank you for the sub. I'm gonna assume that the more I talk shit about the devs, the more subs I will get. Alright, so yeah, I was gonna say, like, you get less of the penalty, right? Whenever you're using BVC on top of allies, because you're doing more damage, therefore you're taking less experience penalty. Okay, so that's kind of specious, a little bit of a straw man that he's fighting here. Doesn't really address the actual argument. And then it's like allies are capable of clearing entire floors on their own. Well, yeah, but you know, by way of example, if I were to summon shadow creatures, I might not be able to kill a group of enemies in one sitting with one casting, or even 2 castings of it. Whereas if I BVC some super strong enemy on top of that, like, let's say I've got, I don't know, let's say I've got a Brimstone Fiend next to me, and then I summon some shadow creatures, they'll beat on that Brimstone Fiend, and eventually they will kill the Brimstone Fiend. But if I BVC, it's going to kill the Brimstone Fiend so much faster because they're hitting with basically every single attack, and the Brimstone Fiend is taking damage every single turn. So, essentially the argument is dog shit, because the whole point of it being overpowered is that it does things so much more quickly and with so much less mana use, you know? And speed matters a lot in DCSS. There's really nothing more important in DCSS than turn economy. And this is my favorite part. The spell doesn't improve accuracy enough versus a majority of monsters to warrant to spend a turn using PvC instead of a better earth magic damage spell. This is just wrong. It's just fucking wrong. It's not really, it's really bad to describe it as an evasion malice or an evasion, an improving of accuracy. It would be more accurate to describe it as a complete and total destruction of their evasion. You know, like, you're virtually guaranteed to hit when you have something constricted. It's insane, the effect. So this downplays the reality of the bonus. Its damage per cast is good, but at reasonable spell power levels, and in most important use cases, it's a lot better to spend MP each turn on a spell that kills monsters sooner. That's dumb. Because it holds monsters in place, alright? Because it holds monsters in place, what you can do is you can cast it, and you can walk to the edge of line of sight, and just sit there while they die. So you've only spent 5 mana, and most monsters can't do a lot to you at the edge of the line of sight. Whereas with Fireball or something, you cast it and things are approaching you. So if you don't actually kill the thing as you're casting, now it's next to you, it can do damage to you. And on top of that, in 4 casts of Fireball, you spent like 20 mana. Whereas in the same amount of time, you've done almost as much damage with 5 mana with BVC. And on top of that, if you've got some real crowd control problems, and you've got so many enemies that you need to do damage to all of them at once, BVC can do that in 2-3 turns. Whereas Fireball, if things are spread out wrong, you will have to cast it in one direction and then cast it in another direction, and it's just not as good. So, I mean, he talks about how he removed the smite targeting, which is really a lie, because, like, look at, okay, so it's not, alright, it's not smite targeted, but thing is, it's a bolt that goes to the edge of the screen. Well, one square away from the edge of the screen, and it's not reduced in range when it hits things, okay? This is effectively smite targeting for all the situations that fucking matter. So the idea that he's removed smite targeting from the spell, not really accurate. Let's see. I do also want to take a look at the spell's damage per turn with the highest spell power levels. See, he's looking at it from the complete wrong direction. I don't understand if this is what he actually thinks, or if I'm actually getting, you know, punked here. If this is like a joke, because it's like BVC at the highest spell power levels is, yeah, you get more damage out of it, but all the other shit that it does, BVC is so good that, yeah, I didn't go to the edge of the screen before anyway. That's true, man. But anyway, BVC is so good, I tell you that with its current iteration, current spell level, current set of schools, I would use BVC if it did 0 damage. Hands down. I would still use it. I would use it with summoners. I would use it with anybody who does melee attacks. I would use it with anybody who does ranged attacks. Yeah, what Tumulu said, the holding effect that BVC does alone is incredibly good. That's without even taking into account the evasion penalty. It's, yeah, and it's not affected by, you know, like, it doesn't care about the enemy's MR, it doesn't care about their hit dice, it just kind of does it, you know, and there is a chance for them to break out, but you're robbing a turn from the enemy, you know? You're stopping them, unless they have some kind of ranged attack, you're just guaranteed stopping them for at least one turn from coming towards you. That is so strong. Yeah. Anyway, I read part of, I couldn't resist reading part of that. It's just so misguided, and to me it sounds insulting, which is why I'm not really restricting myself from being insulting in return. It was like, how many did I count? 4 or 5, maybe 6 instances of him basically saying, no, you're full of shit. Yeah, right, they nerf spells like Conjure Flame, which while strong, were in a very good place power level wise, because there were so many drawbacks to using Conjure Flame. Conjure Flame was not amazingly easy to use properly. It was actually a pretty advanced level spell in terms of all the little tricks you could do with it. I mean, the basic trick of casting it and hitting things with a spear from across it, that was like the simplest use case, and that was pretty damn strong. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty good. But there were so many other things you could do with it, and it was quite strong, but you had to be good to do it. And I think that's a great example of a spell where it's like you really have to know what you're doing to use it properly. But then this dumbass, the same guy who supposedly knows about game balance, puts icy ramparts or frozen ramparts into the game, which is a spell that is 1 school compared to Conjure Flames 2, level 3, just like Conjure Flames, and just sort of does damage to everything and slows it down. It's so much stronger than Conjure Flame used to be. And they just throw this into the game like it makes sense. It's ridiculous. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. Am I a stabby octopus? No, I'm a turn into a dragon and beat things to death octopus. Anyway, sorry for the the sort of tangent there, but I can never resist a good chance to call people out when they're saying something insane. Oh, it's tons of fun, Tumalu. It's just overpowered as hell, you know? I made a post about this on Reddit, actually. It'll get ignored because, you know, some of these people are completely incapable of taking feedback. Even when the feedback is written and spoken a little more nicely than what I was doing just now. But, that is what it is. Alright, these guys are really quick, and they will run away from you while spitting things that can do something like 81 damage to you if they get lucky. Those orbs of destruction. Guaranteed to hit you unless you have a shield. They are vulnerable to hexes, like most things in here. When I say hexes, I don't just mean the hex school. I mean things like Paralysis Wand. I mean Petrification, which is not even a hex school. Anything that affects MR. Sadly, demonic crawlers have good MR, so we'll just kill him. Petrify, petrify, petrify. Donald the Adventurer. Donald is a duck. He hits pretty hard, 26 damage plus a weapon. He has might and haste, so he could actually do some pretty ugly things to me right now. And because he walks on water, I can't just really walk away from him. However, oh look, I can just BVC him. Oh look, zombie hands grab Donald. They didn't do damage, but that's okay. His evasion is fucking nothing. And also, his shield isn't doing anything for him, so I'm just going to attack. I rolled low. I attack. Oh, I killed him in one shot. Didn't miss at all. Why? Because of BVC. But don't worry, the spell is in a good place. It's totally balanced. Anybody who says otherwise is clearly wrong. Somebody should clip that entire speech about BBC and whatnot. Maybe drop that in the Roguelikes Discord. Oh man. Nice little piece of Roguelikes content for them to enjoy. Can I talk about my decision-making behind what to curse with having Ash? Yes, absolutely. So in general, with Ash, I will want to curse jewelry first. Typically because, the reason typically is that on most Ash characters, I'm usually going to be a caster, because the benefit, the extra skill going into my casting is really nice. It lets me cast higher level spells sooner. It lets me it lets me have more spell power. It's just really good. And so with a regular character, if I were to curse 2 pieces of jewelry, I would get a bonus. If I curse 3 pieces, I get an even bigger bonus. It's just really good. Now, on an Octopode, it's a little harder to choose because I need like 5 pieces of jewelry. Because it's, oh shit. Hey, look! It's Nicola, but I have Arlek. Okay, this is cool. Let's make a forest. Just BVC, just kill this thing instantly. 3 shots. Oh my god, it's so strong. See, I had to be a little more picky this time, because I only have so many remove curse scrolls, and I have to curse 5 things to get any benefit at all. So, the things that I would choose out of like, which rings, you know, because that I think is kind of the real thing you're asking. Why did I curse this +4 ring of protection and not the +2 ring of evasion? Why did I curse one of these rings of pro-cold but not the other? Why did I curse, I don't know, this MR++ ring? The basic reason is because these are items that I expect I will be using for a long time, okay? I know I'm going to want at least 1 ring of pro-cold, and I kept it like that because I knew even after I was gone from Slime, which is where I cursed this, I would want it anyway, especially with RC- on this ring. MR++, I got rid of my other MR rings and cursed this because this is 2 pips of MR. This is probably going to last me the whole game. Reflection, this is what I consider to be the best amulet in the general case. Sometimes there's exceptions, but in general I'd rather have a +6 ring of reflection than any other generic amulet. So unless I find a higher tier amulet of reflection, this is probably going to remain on my neck the whole game. +4 ring of protection is really high number, probably not going to replace that. But I didn't bother to curse the little boys here, you know. I could maybe curse this +3 ring of evasion. But in general, you know, I just kept the stuff I knew I would want. I don't have RF right now. If I didn't have Dragon Form, I probably would have a cursed ring of RF plus on. But I have the ability to just sort of give myself RF anytime I want. Oh, do I only curse 5 items? Kind of. If I had better items, you would see me curse everything. I don't typically play Ashenzari on an octopus, especially because of the fact that this is awkward as hell with all these slots. Would I ever curse a weapon? Yes. Not on this character. This character wants to punch things, and eventually I'm going to be in stat form, and all that cursing a weapon gives is weapon skill. I would be more likely to curse a staff on this character, because I think that gives spellcasting skill. And then that would get melded when I go into dragon form. But really, I don't want to curse a weapon on this character at all, because eventually I'm going to be in stat form, and I want to be able to punch the lights out of all my enemies, so that's a bad thing. However, on a character that's using Ashenzari, like, I don't know, a Knoll, where I really want extra skills, a good example of cursing a weapon would be, it's pretty easy to guess. If I were to use Demon, if I were to search for Demon, let's say this Demon Trident. I haven't identified it fully, but let's say it was a +9 Demon Trident with Vorpal, Poison Dex +4. Or even like +8 or +7. I'd curse this, for sure, on a character that wants to be swinging, on a character that's not wanting to punch things, and I had polearms training already. If this was, you know, it's when you have a end game weapon, typically, is when you want to curse it. Highest end weapon, yeah, for sure. Now, this you may want to hold off on that, though, if, for example, let's say you don't have Arlek, and the only source of Arlek is a Staff of Air. You may want to hold off on that so you can swap in the case that you really need resistance right then and there. Oh look, it's Mara. Oh look, I'm gonna BVC Mara. Oh look, I'm gonna fucking kill Mara. I promise you that would have taken longer if I hadn't BVC'd. Because I would have missed some of the attacks. But if you look at the log, you know, this dumb fucking asshole, I'm sorry to be so crude, but it's just, you can only say so many completely wrong things. Like, I missed once. I missed one time. Every single other attack hit, even my Ox attacks. That is outrageous. If I were to look up Mara's usual evasion without, you know, that's 3 pips of evasion. You miss a lot of attacks with 3 pips of evasion. A lot. To only miss 1 out of like five turns, which was probably more like 10 attacks. I mean, if you take a look at Crawl's damage and accuracy formulas, whoo boy. I mean, being able to bypass the fact that you miss a lot in this game, one of the most powerful things you could ask for. Petrifying these things, so I don't have to chase them down. They'll run away from me anyway, so it's obnoxious. Normally I'd be a little afraid of being in melee with so many redbacks, but our defenses aren't half bad, honestly. They're not the best, but they're okay. They're better than they should be in dragon form because we have so many rings of evasion and protection and whatnot. Okay, let's just go down. Even in octopus form, I'm not too afraid down here, because then I have my shield. Stat form would be pooping all over this branch, though. Oh no, this Spark Wasp, he has 3 pips of evasion. What am I? Oh, okay, I'm just gonna kill him. Why am I in Spider so late? Because I did Elf early. It's not really that late, I only have one. Oh, you're probably wondering why I did Slime first. Basically, I had the tools to do Slime. And I knew I could do Slime, and then I went into Spider, and I did a little oopsie here. I went down here, and it was one of these very dangerous wide open floors. I went down, there were a bunch of melee eyes, a bunch of other crap. I made a lot of noise, and I created a very ugly staircase. And at the time, I was heavily drained. I just didn't want to deal with it. And also, I wanted to come back with a little more in the way of defenses, basically. Because I knew I would come back down with, like, Invis and Telly, and was it the best choice? Should I have been in Slime? For most people, I'd probably say no, but for this particular character, I knew I had the tools to easily do Slime, and I could probably do it without really spending resources outside of the TRJ fight. So, it worked out. I did actually have a pretty dangerous situation in Slime, but that was more because of my own recklessness than actually misplaying by being in there. It was more of a misplay by just taking too many fights too close together. Alright, here's a fun enemy. This is a Ghost Moth. He's always invis, but we have Sinv from Worshipping Ashenzari, so it's no big deal. He will drain your mana every turn if he wants, just by looking at you. He will drain your stats if he attacks you, and he will poison you. Pretty beefy enemy. Of course, you know, oh, what am I going to do? Oh, I'm going to take a ZV to 1 and I'm going to eat him. It's almost like BVC is good against literally every single monster in the game that isn't straight up immune to it, of which there are maybe 3 monsters. Died to TRJ 3 times. Trying to get 15 runes in your last 3 extended. You don't know how to fight him. I suggest you look back at the VOD. There is a combo. There's a way of fighting him that works on any character that's decent in melee. It involves having a net. It involves setting up the fight with certain allies. This is a great example of the force multiplier power of BVC, by the way. That crowd control, I didn't want to fight that Hornet. I didn't want to let him get in melee. I was able to just BVC him and he just fucking died while I fought all this other stuff, you know? It's really good. Let's put up a spire and block. We're blocking the orbs. It's pretty good. Anyway, yeah, so you can do the little trick where you get TRJ in his little shrine area and get allies around him in the exact perfect spot and then keep him netted and just beat his ass, and it works pretty much every time. You can also fight him in the open with certain tricks that involve immolation scrolls and sticks to snakes or Kiku animated dead allies, you know, or even Redemnul allies. There's a lot of ways to skin that cat, but if you don't know all these neat little tricks, then it can go bad really quickly. So yeah, I would suggest you go back and look at the VOD if you're interested in learning how to do that better. I have a lot of videos on YouTube too, where I fight TRJ. If you just sort of skip around and look for me being in Slime, Which is not to say I don't scuff the fight sometimes. There have certainly been times when I've done it wrong. But if you look at any of my latest videos, newer videos within the last year or so, let's take this hatch up. Never turned down an opportunity to reset a fight. Use Wand of Clouds. Wand of Clouds is an okay tool in that fight if you set it up properly. TRJ is funny because it's a fight that you really... Unless your character is just insanely overpowered, it is not a fight that you can just take. You can't just walk into it and start beating ass like you would any other monster. It's a fight you've got to do in a sort of careful, planned way. So if you're just trying to fight him out in the open, you'll lose every time if you're not trying to do something special. And so that's why you have people saying that Slime is harder than Vaults, but I actually disagree. I think Slime is easier than Vaults. You just have to know the tricks. Yeah, I hope it helps. If you have any questions, you know, like if you watch it and something doesn't make sense, feel free to hit me up either here or on Discord or whatever, and I'll be happy to help you out, buddy. Okay, this is not a rune door. We're going to exclude this door, which will stop my guy from opening it up when he auto-explores, because I don't want to be in there yet. I want to do the rest of the floor first. Which is almost done, but... generally, those guys inside there are just spiders with no hands. They can't open doors. People saying Slime is harder than Vaults reminds you of Old Tomb. Yeah, I see. Alright, we've got a big boy troll ghost, and we've got some other stuff that I don't care about, except I guess Iron Shot could do a good bit of damage to me. Put up D-Missile, I should be okay. Can't BVC these guys, unfortunately. Used to get it as your first extended rune. Yeah, back in the day, without the upstairs, downstairs, you know, one-way staircases problem, it was really, really easy if you knew what you were doing and had the right tools. Yeah, we can fight this guy, it's no problem. Oh no, he cast Lita's Liquefaction! Oh no! I just did this for experience, and I mean, I guess the Potion of Resistance is okay. Well, the thing about Vaults is that it's more random. You know, you could go into Vaults and have 30 games in a row where you don't see a single Ancient Lich. You can go play your next game and have an Ancient Lich right at the entrance. You know, it's not impossible, as far as I know. Certainly on Vaults 5, they can show up. You know you're never going to have to deal with different things on Slime. Slime has a very similar set of enemies every single game. Alright, this is a bit dangerous. This guy raging out some of these enemies is actually really, really risky. So why don't we actually burn a charge of clouds? That's some damage over time. That's some damage over time with BVC. I would like to breathe fire on them, but it will get turned off by the freezing clouds, so we're not going to do that. And we could just fight this stuff, honestly. Given the damage over time it's taking, even if I miss a lot, it's okay. Ancient Liches could show up in V1, V4. I'm pretty sure. I know for a fact Liches can. I'm pretty sure Ancient ones can too. But yeah, certainly you can get them on V5. Sometimes you'll have no Ancient Liches on V5. You know? Sometimes, and you know, forget the worst case scenario, just the regular scenario of like dealing with elves in Vaults. You know, some characters really don't want to have to deal with elves until they get stronger. Some characters are going to have some real issues with elves, despite the fact that they wouldn't really have as many issues dealing with like acid blobs. You know, it does happen. And so if you go into Vaults, you can get entire packs of higher level elves that will just happily hellfire you to death. Well, NG Matt, I hope you're looking forward to the Dispel Undead nerf where you have to be in melee with them in order to cast it. Really amazing change to the game that definitely makes sense. Yeah, it's a really strong spell, for sure, but I think it was in a good place before because the range was still not great before. You know, that was a valid downside. It was a pretty high level spell, you know, if you look at it, Dispel Undead. Well, I guess it's only level 4, but it's still in kind of an awkward school unless you're already a Necromancer. You can still do that on my fight, that's true. I would just use melee personally, but I guess it kind of makes sense against, like, Curse Skulls or something. I see they did the same lazy-ass thing that they did with Agony. They created Dispel Undead range. Was Dispel Undead level 5 before? I think it was. Because this is level 5. That's why I was thinking it was higher level. Your Draconian Berserker turned purple. That's not bad. That's not bad. Check it out. Let me tell you the good things you get from being a purple Draconian Berserker. You get more magic resistance, which is not meaningless, you know, because even with Trog's Hand, you're not going to be totally immune to certain things. You get better Evocations aptitude. Evocations is great on any character, but especially good on a Berserker. You get a Breath that dispels, which you can use on yourself if you were to get slowed. For example, if you Berserk, this is a weird situation that you probably shouldn't run into, but if you Berserk and then you're still in a fight, which you shouldn't be, and you're slowed, you could actually breathe on yourself to get the slow off. It'll damage you, but you will stop being slowed. You can use it to take haste off of enemies. You can use it to cancel, like, petrification. Anything a cancellation scroll would do. You can use it to get corrosion off yourself. You can use it to... I think... Can you use it to stop Word of Recall? Probably not. It's got a lot of uses, though. It's really nice. So your breath is good. Your aptitudes are good. You're getting something out of it, I promise. MR is the best. It's really good. Alright, so we got our second rune. Actually, we got our third rune because we went crazy and did slime first. Now we got to think about the kind of defenses that we want for the purposes of vaults. Yep. So, I think we will probably drop the +2 Ring of Evasion. We will... You know, for vaults, it's kind of like elf. Ideally, we'd like to have Omni Resistance. I mean, literally, elves can show up in vaults, so anything you're worried about in elf, you should be worried about in vaults. So it's like we really would like to have resistance all over the place. Sadly, this character, you know, just hasn't found the necessary stuff. Hasn't found statue form, which would have been really nice because that would give me Aralek and I wouldn't need to wear that ring. Hasn't found any kind of artifact that gives multiple resistances. We're just going to have to live with that. You know, it's fine though. It's not a huge deal. It's just a little disappointing. We're pretty deep in the game to not have found some of these things. I would say that in terms of, like, artifacts, we haven't gotten too lucky. We haven't exactly gotten unlucky. The resistances exist. They're there. I can't complain too much. Like, the fact that Aralek exists in the form of a ring is great. The fact that I got MR++ in a ring, that's great. It just could be going better. It's going well, could be going better. Anyway, why don't we think about what we want here? I think that I'd like to have Ring of Positive Energy on so that when I'm in dragon form, I have R negative. And I think I'm just going to have to do some swaps otherwise. Like, if I want to have RF out of dragon form, I'll just swap my Ring of Fire on. If I want to have R corrosion, then I will swap that on, and so on and so forth. I could just sacrifice some defenses, but, you know, the fact that we're still fooling around with dragon form makes me not want to do that. What is a good combo you would use Hepleocana on, or would you avoid Hep mostly? I mostly avoid Hep. I don't hate Hep. I think Hep is strong. The problem is that there are just so many gods that are stronger. I hate the fact that Hep nerfs your hit points by 10%, which is not... It's not a huge deal, but it is present. I mean, it's a hugely powerful god, there's no question. If I found Hepleocana first on characters that already have a bunch of hit points, like an ogre, or a troll, or a minotaur, well, some of those characters don't even need a god to win easily, but an ogre especially, I'm going to see Hep first, and I'm going to say, well, that's a virtually guaranteed win. You know, finding Hepleicana early is going to, you know, unless you're cutting your hit points down so much that it makes you more likely to be one-shotted, it's really, really strong. Because having an ally all the time, especially one that doesn't steal your experience, is just really strong. Summons and allies are just hilariously powerful in this game. With that said, I mean, I generally do avoid Hepleicana. But I mean, if you want to streak, it's perfectly good. Always go for the Hexer. There's almost no situation where you don't want to go for the Hex. The guy who confuses your enemies. Just really good. Okay, I'm just going to tab through enemies here unless I find something that's particularly dangerous. Bear in mind, these Sentinels can mark me if I don't have enough MR, which I don't in Dragon form. These ugly things are not concerning as long as they're doing damage that hits one of my resistances. Time to donate for a Spriggan Hepleicana run. You could. I don't think I would do that on a streak. Maybe, yeah, you know what? I would do that on a streak if it was a Spriggan fighter. I'd be okay with that. If you donate, if you give me enough bits, I'll do that on a streak. I'll be okay with that, I guess. Spriggan fighter, maybe a Spriggan, maybe a Spriggan artificer. Actually, I don't know. I'd have to see which ones I've done and which ones I haven't. It's kind of hard to... At some point it becomes hard to scroll through all this and see which Spriggans I've played. Probably not very many. An Arcane Marksman, an Ice Elementalist, a Wizard. Huh, okay, so both Spar and SP Phi are available. Okay, so the Actars can do really good damage at range, especially the Captains, but I don't care because I have D-Missile, so they're generally missing me. It's really not anything that I'm afraid of in here, to be honest. I should probably take these Ogre groups a little more carefully. Technically, I could take like 100 plus damage. Whoa, is that a dispersal trap? Yeah, it is. Bolt. Bolt of hands. Cool. You don't think centaurs should be able to shoot you when they are dazzling sprayed? Well, if they're blinded, if they are actually blinded from that, you can step in a different direction. You can step in a different direction and they will think you're still in the spot you were before. And they'll shoot there instead. So that's one neat trick to avoid. In general, I don't like using Dazzle Spray versus them, though. Nothing particularly dangerous here. I guess I don't have RC+, so fighting these simulacrums is a little bit spooky, but we're fine. So Vaults is 5 floors. Vaults is 5 floors, and the 5th floor... Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just had pizza dropped off beside me. I think I'm gonna have to eat that before it gets cold, so I might be stopping the stream soon. I hope she didn't order that from somewhere and get me the coronavirus. I hope that's from the freezer. Anyway, moving along. Yeah, Vaults is 5 floors. The 5th floor is essentially a boss fight area like TRJ. Queen Bee is a joke when it has no bee backup. That's true. On about the 3rd floor, you're going to run into a staircase that leads to the crypt, which we may very well do on this guy. But the first 4 floors are pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Certainly you could run into things like liches that would make things very hard. But otherwise, you know, should have an okay time in vaults. So some people will dip into vaults relatively early, like as soon as they get their first rune, just to get some extra experience. I don't like to do that because there are a lot of potentially difficult threats in here. I mean, there's nothing stopping, as far as I know, there's nothing stopping a golden dragon from spawning right there on Vaults 1. So you just know you're not going to have to deal with that nonsense in usually the other vaults that are available to you, or the other, branches that are available to you, which is one of the reasons why we saved vaults for last. You have run into Crypt 1 before and gotten killed by a ghoul. Yeah, ghouls do... Ghouls are deceptive because you think they're easy, but then you look at them, you actually look at their stats, and they have like 150 hit points, and then they hit for 30 damage, but they get to do it twice. So they're big boys. They're big boys. You gotta kill them carefully. Their MR is not super amazing, so we may be trying to petrify them, assuming that's possible. We'll probably just melee them with the dragon, though. We do a lot of damage. Probably just BVC and then attack. It's really, really strong. Really hope we find statue form in the bottom of vaults. There's another huge pile of loot there. If we don't, we'll go to Crypt. We may save Crypt. We may do that thing we did on the Mibby and switch to the Shining one for the 15 rune portion of the game. But that's okay. I mean, we'll consider that for next time. I think I am going to call it for tonight, and call the stream to a close, I mean, because I do have this pizza in front of me and I am pretty hungry. But I do hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I hope this is helpful for learning how to play a difficult caster. This is up there. This is up there in the level of difficulty of a caster that you could play. Certainly a different experience on an Octopode than most characters because of the fact that your equipment slots are just so different. And there's just so many directions you can take a caster in. So, it's a matter of, is it harder to play somebody who restricts himself to using conjurations? Is it hard? I mean, you probably. Unfortunately, it's generally best if the spells arrive, if the spells make themselves apparent to you in the game, if they actually show up. It's generally best to go for things like summonings and transmutations. Necromancy, I mean, some schools happen to be better than others. So unless I'm just trying to show off sort of a showboating run, there's honestly very rarely a good reason to make your character all about casting spells like Fireball. But it does happen, and maybe we'll be able to show that off at some point. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, I'm signing out. Did you know that there are many ways that you can help support this channel? Read about them on rosecrypto.com/support. At Rose Crypto, you can learn all about cool things like the Brave web browser, Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrencies. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.